Hello viewers, I'm SB, and this is Vital Lacerda's On Mars. On Mars is a board game that we're going to be playing a full solo playthrough of here in this video, inside of a video game called Tabletop Simulator. If you are not familiar with Tabletop Simulator, you're looking at it, and it's pretty much what it sounds like. It is a digital physics space where you can make game components and move them around and physics them at each other. Basically, just a good solution to the problem of wanting to be able to play board games on your computer, which might be valuable to you if you like to play board games with friends who do not live near you, or maybe even friends who might live near you, but from whom you must remain socially distant for one reason or another. And if that just blew your mind, if you're like, oh my god, I need to own this thing immediately, there's a link in the video description to where you can go buy it on Steam for $20. It is extremely worth every cent of that price. We haven't done a board game video here on the channel in a while. And also, content's been a little bit light this week. In general, just a bunch of stuff didn't quite come together the way I was hoping it would. So I figured this is a good opportunity to kill both those birds with one stone, and also to let me play a board game that I've been very excited about since I found out about it. On Mars was designed by a guy called Vital Lacerda, and he is my favorite board game designer, and part of that is that he makes some pretty complicated games. I like a good complicated game, and this is a good complicated game. That means that there are probably going to be some rule mistakes. I haven't actually gotten to play it all that much. I have about 1.5 plays under my belt, so there's probably going to be some errors. There's definitely going to be some looked rules up to make sure that we have things right, and to that end, there's a rules document here at the top of the table. There are reminder things all over the table, and I also have another copy of the rules document open on my other monitor. Hopefully we can make that process relatively smooth and painless. We're not going to start with a big explanation of all the rules here. Those of you who have watched board game videos on this channel kind of know the deal. By the end of this video, you'll know how to play the game, or at least as well as I do. But if you are looking for something to teach you how to play quickly so you can play yourself, this video is not going to be good for that purpose. So, let's talk about the broad strokes, though, so that you can understand the context for some of the early decision-making. On Mars is a game that is played over a sequence of rounds, and each round has 2 phases. The colonization phase, where players take actions, and then a shuttle phase, where this little shuttle token moves either from the Mars colony to the space station in orbit around Mars, or vice versa, carrying presumably important logistical components and stuff, and also potentially players. That matters because you can see up here the turn order track. The whole idea of the game is sort of split into 2 pieces. Some parts of the game take place on the Mars colony, and some of them take place in orbit. When it's your turn in the colonization phase, the actions you have available to you are different based on whether you are in orbit or on the colony. So we're just going to swing right into our first colonization phase here so that I can show you what I'm talking about. I've already done all the setup. I've already made the setup time decisions. I figured it wouldn't be terribly interesting to put that stuff on camera before you guys knew how the rules worked and why we were making the decisions the way we were. We're probably going to do more than one of these today, and for the rest of the games, I'll show the setup decisions. But to just get started here, during the colonization phase, players act in player order according to the player order chart here. So you can see we in purple are before our computerized opponent in yellow. The players who are in orbit will always act before the players who are on Mars. So, on our turn in the colonization phase, we are required to take one main action. These circles on the board, on our side of the board, depict the possible main actions. In addition to our main action, we can, before or after the main action, take up to one executive action. The executive actions are depicted down here on our player board, in this area. Don't worry too much about the fact that none of the iconography means anything to you yet. The most important thing for you to know at this moment is that the little diamonds next to the executive actions indicate the cost in crystals that must be paid to take that action. If we want to be able to take multiple actions per turn, we need to maintain a supply of crystals. So that's going to guide some of our decision-making at points during the game. Obviously, it is better to take 2 actions per turn than 1, broadly speaking. So, We can talk about the actions available to us here really quickly. This top action is commission a landing pod to go to Mars. Basically, you just sacrifice your turn, but you get to move down to the colony. We will not be taking this. I'm not eager to do this. I do not have a great grasp of the game strategically. Like I said, I've only played it all the way through once, but it feels to me like this is mostly an oops, I screwed up and failed to catch the shuttle when it was going to Mars type thing. It doesn't feel like something you want to be doing on purpose a lot. It's a thing you want to spend your turn doing. This action here allows us to take a blueprint card. The blueprint cards here at the left side of the board allow us to upgrade buildings on Mars into an advanced form that gives us access to an extra power. Don't worry, again, about the fact that the iconography doesn't make any sense to you yet. It will soon. The important thing to know about these for the moment is that the bit at the bottom tells you what type of building they upgrade. You can see there are several types of buildings here in the game, each of which produce one of the game's resources. The battery building produces batteries, the water building produces water, the plant building produces plants. It's all pretty straightforward in that sense. Buildings that don't have a player's marker on them don't produce resources for any player, but once you have taken an advanced building blueprint and then built that advanced building, you get to mark that building as yours, and then it produces resources for you for the rest of the game. So that's a thing we probably want to do early. That's my sense of it so far, and this is the action we're going to be taking. Real quickly, though, to talk about the other actions available, this action allows you to take technology. Technology is a significant source of points, and obviously also unlocks some abilities that you don't have access to in the early part of the game. This action here allows you to develop your technologies. So once you've taken a technology into your lab, you can upgrade it to make it more powerful and also to make it worth more points. And the final action available to us in orbit is to just grab stuff from the warehouse, the resource tiles that are here in the warehouse. Like I said, this is our play. So, iconography on the action we're taking. First of all, this action has an orange colonist at the top of it. That means that there is a mandatory cost to take this action of committing one colonist to one of the orange spaces next to it. So we're going to come down here to our player board, grab one of our active colonists from our living area, and throw it in there. Paying that cost allows us to take the action once. This lets us get one blueprint card. There's also a teal colonist at the bottom. What that means is that we can commit additional guys to the action by placing them into our working area, and for each colonist that we commit in that way, we get to take the action again, effectively. So if we would like multiple blueprint cards, we can commit more colonists. And looking at the options here, I think I do want to do that. We're going to go ahead and commit one additional colonist over here to our working area, so that we can take an extra card, and we're going to grab both of these. So hopefully this is a sensible play. Let me explain how these work real quick. So when we take a blueprint card, we place an advanced building token on it. The blueprint represents an idea, right? This is just an idea for an advanced building. We haven't actually constructed it until we take the upgrade building action, which is available over on Mars. When we do that, we'll take our advanced building token and we'll place it on a building of the appropriate type, marking it as ours, and causing it to generate resources for us, like I said, for the rest of the game. In addition, this symbol right here is the victory point. In this game, they are called opportunity points. So if you see a component or the rules talk about OPs, that's what it means, victory points. When you take a blueprint that still has its building marker on it is -3 points. These are not actually worth anything at all, and in fact they are bad for you until you actually construct the advanced building. So we're making a bit of a commitment here by taking 2 of these early. I think this is a good idea, though. We want access to those powers, and we want to start claiming resource buildings as ours. And that is the end of our main action. If another player were to take the main action, if anybody were to take this main action now, including us, the fact that there's already one colonist committed to it raises the cost. So in addition to having to commit one of your colonists, you have to pay a crystal or commit an extra guy to your working area for each colonist that's already in the box. So it's not just... it's not really a blocking play in the sense of like the way you can usually cut people out of spaces in a worker placement game. If the box fills up completely, it is still playable. We'll talk about that process when we get there. But you can make the actions more expensive for other players if you're smart and thinking ahead and doing what you know they will need to do. Alright, so that's the end of our main action. We could take an executive action at this point. And I think we want to. I think I'm going to play... we should probably actually talk about how the depot works before I do this. So, there's a bunch of executive actions visible here. We cannot take any action that has a ship next to it. These ships are locking these actions off. So in order to gain access to the more powerful executive actions, we're going to have to launch these private ships over the course of the game. Let's not worry too much about that stuff right now. The actions we have access to are this one down here allows us to play the power that is on one of our blueprints, one of the ones that we have built the advanced building for. This action here allows us to take one resource from the warehouse. This is the warehouse symbol. And this action here allows us to move our building bot on Mars up to 2 spaces. I think we're going to do that. My suspicion is that our bot is not in the right place for the... this is where he has to start on our initial shelter. But because you can only build either on the tile your bot is on or on adjacent tiles, his building options are actually pretty limited here. I think we want to move him over into the open a little bit. So we're going to pay the 2 crystal cost for this action. Just take these and delete them from existence. And move our guy up to 2 spaces. And then this symbol at the bottom here tells you that as many times as you like, you may spend 1 additional crystal for 1 extra point of movement. I'm fine with the 2 points of movement. We're just going to make him go right there. And hopefully the reasoning for that will become clear presently. And then that's our turn. We're done. We took 2 actions. That's the most complicated that a turn ever really gets. The complexity in a Vital Lacerda game doesn't come from the fact that you're doing a lot of things. Turns are fairly simple, and there probably won't be a huge number of turns, but rather from the interaction of the systems and the number of options you have available to you on each play, and that'll become clearer as we go on here. So, we did our thing. Now it is Lacerda's turn, down here on space 7 of the turn order chart. So the way that the AI acts is we pull a card off of this AI deck here, and then we go look at the thing, because I don't actually know how to read this. It's got a man with a 2 on it, and some cubes and stuff. Help. On Lacerda's turn, reveal the top card from the solo deck. He performs an action as detailed below, and then the card is discarded. When the solo deck is empty, the next time Lacerda takes a turn, reshuffle the deck to make a new deck. After you have shuffled the deck once, in addition to Lacerda performing the action, he will also move the indicated mission tracker cube. Okay, we're not going to worry about that until it's time for that to actually happen. So, he is taking... Okay, action number 2? Is that what it was? It was, in fact, a 2. He's taking action number 2 on the Mars colony side of the board, which is upgrade a building. He cannot do this. He does not have a building to upgrade. He has no blueprints, rather. So, when Lacerda cannot take the action that is drawn, There's definitely a rule about this. I saw it. I just don't remember exactly where it was. Okay. Illegal moves. If the move he is doing is not allowed for some reason, then instead of performing the action, he moves his rover instead. Whenever Lacerda moves his rover, it moves toward the closest tile that it can collect. If tied, check the resolving ambiguities rules. Okay, so there are some tiles on the board. Let me just really quickly here. During the game, there will be times when Lacerda has more than one choice. In these cases, you must choose the option which gives the most advantage to him. If there isn't a clear choice, then give a number to each of the choices and draw... Okay, determine randomly. Sure. Okay, so here's what's happening now. Vital Lacerda is going to move his... Vital the robot is going to move his rover. All the rovers start the game at the central mine. And he is going to move his rover toward the nearest tile that is laying in one of the hexes that will benefit him in some way. You can see all of these research tiles are the same distance from the rover at this time, because that's how they start the game. So we're just going to have to determine randomly. There are 8 options. Fortunately, Tabletop Simulator makes it simple enough. We can just spawn ourselves a D8. And we'll say this is 1, and then they go clockwise from there. He's going to move toward tile 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, the rover. When you move a rover, it has 2 movement. This is actually going to be a pretty good example of a game thing. So does it say in here clearly? Sorry, that's there we go. He uses any available tech and spends additional crystals if required. Okay, so let's talk about technologies. At the beginning of the game, I placed my my player marker on the turn order tile that gave us a choice of technology, and as my starting technology, I took this, the technology that gives rovers extra movement. When a player has a technology, any player in the game can use it. However, if you use someone else's technology, you give them some benefit. So, Vital Lacerda is going to use our technology to make his rover move 1 extra space. And when he does that, we get a little bit of a bonus. We'll talk about what this does in a second. In addition, it says he uses any crystals that he has to use, much like the move bot action. When you're moving the rover, you can move it 1 extra space for each crystal you spend. So he doesn't quite make it out to the research tile, but he gets close. Alright, when you use another player's technology, you give them an air token, and they just hold on to it until you have completed your action. Then, when your action is done, they have a decision to make. They can either keep the air tile, or keep the air resource and just add it to their stock of air resource tokens. This is pretty valuable. Air is hard to get, and it lets you... each resource is used to build a different kind of building. You can see here, minerals are used to build the battery building, then batteries are used to build the water building, and then water to make plant building, plant to make the oxygen building, and oxygen is used to create additional shelters, which increase the number of colonists that you can have. So that's a pretty big deal. Or they can discard the air token and upgrade the level of their technology. Whenever you take a new technology, you put it in the leftmost column over here. And you can see this column gives 1 point of benefit of whatever it is that the tech does, and technologies in this column at the end of the game are worth 1 point. If we choose to discard our air token and upgrade our tech, it'll move over here, and now, when this tech is used, it gives the rover 2 extra points of movement, and the tech is worth more at the end of the game. And as the techs move to the right through your laboratory, whenever they step on a tile that has a benefit indicated on it, you get that benefit immediately. So I'm a little torn here because I think that keeping the air and upgrading the rover tech are both very, very good. I think for our purposes, we're going to take the tech upgrade. We'll just go ahead and throw that back in the pile. And then that is Lacerda's turn. He did his one thing. So, now that all of the players have taken their colonization phase, we move to the shuttle phase. In the shuttle phase, the shuttle moves 1 space toward the middle of the board. So, like, if it was over here, it would move to right there. If it is on a red space at the beginning of the move, it moves across to the other side of the board. Right now, whenever the shuttle moves, it's just going to go to the red space on the other side of the board. But we'll talk about all this stuff later when we get into a little bit more. But as the game goes on, it will start to move further and further back on the track, so it won't be transferring sides every turn anymore. And then, after the shuttle has moved, every player gets to decide if they would like to change sides. If the shuttle was on your side at the beginning of the shuttle phase and moved over to the other side, you can hitch a ride along with the shuttle for free. If that is not the case, you can still change sides, but you have to expend one of your personal ships from your hangar. Right now, we have no personal ships in our hangar. They're all waiting to be built. So we do not have the option of switching sides. Lacerda does, though, because he can hitch along with the shuttle, and I believe he always does. Let's see here, the shuttle phase. Lacerda always chooses to travel with the shuttle unless the most recent solo card depicts an X next to the cube at the top of the card. Did it? It does not. Okay, when Lacerda travels, choose an available turn order space at random, then resolve the travel as normal, but with the following changes. When traveling to orbit, Lacerda skips all of the spaces and just goes... Okay, so we have here some cards to help him determine which turn order space he wants to move on to. Lacerda is going to space 4. And he skips over these. When we transfer from the colony up to orbit, we hit a couple of bonuses. Some things will happen. And then we're just going to throw that back in there and reshuffle. So, when he is placed on that tile, since Lacerda already has all of his colonists, ordinarily this space gives you more colonists, he instead moves his rover. And, so he just moves to the closest, yeah, okay. That's easy enough for him. He moves to here. The rover has to end its turn on the research tile in order for it to collect the research tile, so he gets this. What exactly happens when he gets these? Because I know what happens when I pick one up. I guess it's probably the same deal. Yeah, okay, it's probably the same deal. So these research tiles, they increase the level of your technology. You notice it's the same iconography here as it is on this develop your tech tile over here. So what Lacerda does is, according to the description of that action, he develops the most developed tech that can be developed once, then the least developed tech that can be developed once. When you start the game, you only have one technology, the technology that determines how large your complex of shelters can be. We have an extra technology because we took an option during setup that gave that to us. But he only has the one tech, so he's going to upgrade the one tech. He's going to... he doesn't take resource tokens, so this space that would give him a resource doesn't do anything. So whenever we make a move for Lacerda, we must make the move that allows him to do stuff as much as possible. So he'll develop this tech to here, which moves his bot. Lacerda's bot is very different from our own. We'll worry about explaining the rules for that when he takes his build action, which is what the bot is used for. And then he just develops this tech again, because it's the only one he has. Alright, and then that is the end of the shuttle phase. So we go to a new turn's colonization phase. Turn order chart still has us going first, so we will go first. And I'm pretty sure that we do want to take the shuttle down to Mars at the end of this turn. So, just thinking ahead a little bit, we have one colonist remaining in our living area, and one colonist in our working area. When we take the shuttle transfer, we get all of our working colonists back over into the living area, but any that are committed to the board will not come back immediately. So, we could, for example, take this develop your technology action, commit a second guy to the board, and get ourselves a bunch of points and stuff, but the cost of doing that is significant because then we'll have two colonists stuck in orbit while we're on the colony. We won't be able to take a lot of actions down on the colony. You could see the colony has quite a few actions that require you to commit a guy to the board. So I'm a little leery of doing that. And I'm thinking maybe the smart play is to just take another technology tile. We also have the option of grabbing a resource from the warehouse if we wanted. I think let's build tech. Let's go for technology. So, the technology thing does not have the orange meeple, but it does have the teal meeple. That doesn't really help us, because obviously we only have one guy, so we can't afford to commit too hard here, but you might notice that it also has a big red token with an A on it next to it. Let's talk about the mission cards. So you might notice there are 3 missions on the board right now. One marked A, one marked B, and one marked C. The game comes with these little tokens that you can put next to the actions that are related to the missions you drew, just so that you will not forget. We will absolutely still forget, but hopefully not too many times. So, whenever when the mission token is placed out on when the mission card is placed out on the board at the beginning of the game, It has an indicator on it for what number to set its attendant mission cube to. This mission is whenever a player gets a technology tile, the mission cube is decremented by 1, and that player gains a crystal. When the mission cube hits the end of the row, the end of the train there, we decrease the number of missions remaining to be completed by 1, and when this cube bottoms out of this track, that's what triggers the end of the game. So mission completion is one way that the cube moves to the right. Also, as the level of the colony increases, the mission cube will also get moved over to the right. We're going to worry about this later when it starts, when the action that does that starts getting taken. For right now, we're going to take a technology, and that's going to advance this mission a little bit. So I think the way technologies work is each one of them has a cost. You can see the 2 in the bottom row had no cost. That's why the one we took at the beginning of the game was from the bottom row. The ones in the middle row cost a battery, and then the ones in the top row cost a battery plus anything else. These ones that just depict a building type on them allow you to build complexes of that building type, larger areas that produce more resources. This mission, this technology allows you to take additional upgrade actions when you do the upgrade action, and this technology allows you to welcome additional colonists to the colony when you call in one of your private ships. For right now, a lot of that doesn't mean a ton to you. I'm going to take... I think we're going to take one of these complex building... we're going to take one of these complex building technologies. I'm just not sure which one. And unfortunately, this is an area where my not having played the game a lot is going to make things a little hard, because I do not know what the right play is from a strategic standpoint here. Let's grab the mining complex technology. So that's going to cost us a battery. You start with 1 of each resource, so that's not too bad to pay. And we put that down on the space that allows us to take 1 resource from the warehouse. I might just grab another battery. See, that motivates us to build a mine. Building a mine doesn't cost a resource tile, it costs a colonist. You must commit a colonist to the mine to work as a miner. I think we might just go ahead and grab another battery just so that we have... I don't know, man. I suppose there's a crystal here. We could grab a crystal, too. That would give us the ability to take another executive action, but I honestly don't know that we need to at the moment. Like, this executive action to just get a thing from the warehouse, it would definitely feel a little silly to take a crystal from the warehouse so that we could take a different thing from the warehouse at a cost of 2 crystals. And we honestly don't really need to move our bot. I think I'm going to grab a water or a plant. I'm going to grab a water. No, I'm not. Sorry, I'm going to grab a battery. Let's just take the battery. I don't know what we want yet. So, down here, this is our resource holding area. Above each resource type, you'll notice an indicator. You can only hold as many of each resource as the number of shelters you have on Mars plus 1. Everybody starts the game with 1 shelter, so at the beginning of the game, your resource capacity for everything is 2. Most of the resources are pretty obvious single use. Like we were talking about the chain of construction here. But it's worth noting that minerals are wild. That's why they have the 4 other resource colors in the ring around the outside of them. They can be spent for any resource at any time you need to spend a resource, with one exception that we'll worry about later down the line if it ever comes up. And then we could commit an additional guy to our working area to take another resource if we wanted to, or to take another tech if we wanted to, and I think we will. Yeah, let's actually spend that battery we just got, and we'll, Oh, I was sorry. When we place this here, we're supposed to take the resource we get from the warehouse, not from the general supply. We're going to take one of the batteries out of there. I think we're going to... Yeah, let's commit our last guy to the working area. We're going to grab also the battery tech Not because I think that we necessarily need this, but because it is free. And we're going to place it here and get ourselves a crystal. And this one does come from the general supply, because this was not the warehouse symbol. Okay, so now we have a ton of technology, which is maybe pretty great. We'll see how that works out. I mean, each technology we know is going to be worth some points at least. And because we took 2 technologies, the cube gets decremented twice, and we get another 2 crystals. Which is actually a little wasteful. Sorry, when you take new crystals, they go down here below the depot. You do not get access to them immediately. So at the beginning of our next turn, any crystals that are down in our waiting area will move up and fill in the depot, and any additional crystals will be lost, so we kind of overdid it a little bit here, but it's fine. And then, yeah, that's our action. We can't take an executive action because unfortunately we only have 1 crystal in our actual depot, so yeah, we're done. Colonization phase for Lacerda has him playing action number 3 on this side, which is research and development. Lacerda develops the most developed tech that can be developed, and then the least. Alright, we're familiar with this thing. So, when he moves this up, he's going to have to either build an upgrade, build one of the advanced buildings he already has a blueprint for, or take a blueprint. Obviously, we got to move him to the tile that's going to give him the greatest benefit, and then he moves over here. So, how does this work? Do we just take a blueprint at random? Take the blueprint of a type that scores Lacerda's scientists. He does not yet have any scientists, so if tied, take the leftmost card from the row with the most cards in it. Congratulations, Robot Lacerda, you have yourself a building of some kind, a battery thing. Okay, and then that's his turn. Colonization phase over, shuttle phase, the shuttle transfers. We determine whether we want to move over in player order. So we are up first, and I definitely do want to move over. We're in a little bit of a dire spot as far as resources go. We gotta make some moves here. So when we jump over, I'm gonna just pull up the shuttle phase on the rules document that's on my other monitor here, just to make sure I've got this absolutely right. It's pretty straightforward though. Travel to the colony. Oh right, sorry, I'm going in the wrong direction. I'm going on the wrong track here. Travel to the colony. So first, we have the Discovery tile space. Place 1 of the 2 revealed Discovery tiles on an empty hex exactly 3 spaces away from your rover. Remember, our rover is still in the mine here, in the middle. I assume we want to place our Discovery tile, just as far away from Lacerda's rover as possible. So what do these 2 Discovery tiles do? This one just gains you 3 plants. And this one, this is a construction. This is build a plant building. That's interesting. Those are both pretty compelling. I think let's take the build a plant building one, and we'll put it exactly 3 tiles away from our rover. Okay, that'll be hard for him to get a hold of. We should note at this point, these research tiles are different colors because a player may have, at most, 1 research tile of each color. Lacerda is not allowed to take this other green A research tile, so the next time his rover moves, it's probably headed this way. Right? Yeah, that's a shorter path than over to here. So actually, I'm going to choose to place this here instead, then. That's still 3 tiles away. Yeah, but if we choose to have our rover move over there and grab it, it'll still be moving toward the research tiles too. So I think that's a reasonable spot. All right, and then after you do the discovery tile thing, move on to this space, which is retrieve colonists. Move all of your colonists from the action slots that are on the colony side of the board back to your living quarters. Then move all of your colonists from your working area back to your living quarters. So you can see right now we only have 4 spaces for colonists. As we build shelters, we will unlock additional spots to keep active colonists in. And the shelters themselves, once built, are buildings that will produce crystals if we can get advanced buildings onto them. So They are quite valuable, and definitely a thing we'd like to build some of quickly. Yeah, and then we get to pick a turn order space over here. So, the question, do we want to be guaranteed that we will go before the other players on Mars? Do we want a thing from the warehouse? Do we want to move our bot, or do we want to take a blueprint? The blueprints are running out pretty quickly. I think I'm actually quite unsure. Let's take... We could take a resource. Right now the warehouse isn't particularly strained, but it will probably run out of resources. We certainly don't want the crystal. We could take an air, knowing that we intend to build a... I'm going to take a plant, actually. I think I'm going to put us here, and I am going to take a plant from the warehouse. Okay. And then it's Lacerda, and Lacerda does move, because he always moves when the shuttle moves. Unless... No, this does not have an X on it. Alright. Now, there is one small problem with this mod, and it's that they failed to put the face on the card that's supposed to represent Space 8 here. So if we draw one that looks the same on the back as it looked on the front, then we know that's the 8. Alright, he can't take 6. I'm already on 6. That's the 8 card. So he goes here and gets himself a blueprint. And we know how this works already. He takes the leftmost. It's definitely... the blueprint market is moving a lot faster this game than it moved in the one that I played with a real person. Okay, new colonization phase. So it is our turn, and we have access to a different set of actions over here. Let's talk about these real quick. First of all, this one is construct a building. When we do this, we'll build ourselves a new building. Creating a thing gives us a resource of the type that it outputs, and there's also a whole bunch of complicated rules about where you can build stuff. We're not going to worry about that right now until somebody actually takes the action. This action is to construct an advanced building. So you take the advanced building token off of one of your blueprints, place it on a building of the appropriate type on Mars's surface. So like this would have to be placed on the one mine that is out in the world. This one would have to be placed on the one water building. And then obviously doing so allows you to score the blueprint and gives you access to the blueprint's action. This action here is recruit a scientist. Scientists will allow you to take the action of an advanced building. This guy, I don't know what this guy's doing, laying down on the job. Allow you to take the action of an advanced building without paying the crystals. So they just make that executive action free, which is a pretty big deal. And then you can see each scientist also scores points for each of a certain type of advanced building on the board. So the hydrologist here would cost 2 batteries to recruit, makes you able to use water buildings for free, and scores points for each plant advanced building on the board at the end of the game. Scientists are kind of a big deal, and for that reason they have a very unusual cost space, which we'll again worry about when somebody actually buys a scientist. This space here allows you to move, gives you 2 points of movement for your bots and 2 points of movement for your rover, with the ability to spend crystals to get more. And then finally, this space over here, which has the B marker on it, allows you to welcome one of your private ships. So when you do that, in order to do that, you must pay a plant plus a water. It moves the private ship over to here. It unlocks a new space in your depot for holding crystals and access to a new executive action, and allows you to either gain 2 new colonists or 1 new colonist and 1 new builder bot. The reason that the B marker is next to that action right now is that the B mission is more builder bots. In order to complete this, between us and Lacerda, we have to get 3 additional builder bots onto Mars, and I believe this is going to be just me doing this because he doesn't have his bots work a little differently than ours do. So I'm a little torn. I think there's a lot of things that we can do down here that are important. I do think it's important that we welcome some ships. Although I'm going to level with you, I probably wouldn't take a bot at this point. I would probably just want to make more guys. But I think we're going to start by building one of our blueprints. So if you see here, is that right? Yeah, that's probably right. So this advanced building can go on a mine. I would like to claim the mine here. Oh, hold on a second. Let me make sure of something. Am I remembering correctly? When you upgrade a building, each building can be upgraded only once. Each blueprint can be only used once to do the upgrade. Okay. You do not have to have your bot in range of the building to upgrade it. Oh, no. To upgrade a building, it must be in the building zone of one of your bots. So, this bot's in the wrong place, if that's the thing I want to do. We could take our upgrade action to upgrade the water instead. I really should have just moved... I don't know what I was thinking. Why did I move him over here instead of right there? Well, that's an error that we're going to have to pay to correct. Oh, also, I forgot. Sorry, at the start of our turn. Crystals. And this crystal is just lost because we don't have space to store it. So, before our action here, we could pay 2 crystals to move our bot over, which I shouldn't have to do, but I'm a dummy. Or, we could just do the upgrade here. The other option we have is to build a mine right there, and then upgrade that one. He doesn't have an upgrade for a mine, right? Yeah. You know what? Let's just do it that way. We'll take the build action first. So let's go ahead and commit one of our colonists to build. And we're going to build a mine right there. So here's the way building a building is definitely the most complex thing. So here's how it works. We're just going to go step by step down the rules here. Alright, so when you place a new building, you must place it exactly 2 spaces away from an existing building of the same type, or adjacent to a building of the same type to build a complex. At the beginning of the game, you cannot build complexes of most building types. These technologies that have the building type depicted on them are what allow you to build complexes, and we took the technology that lets you build a mine complex for exactly this reason, because I knew I wanted to build a mine. So, here's how this goes. Choose the building you want to construct, it's this one, and pay the cost as shown on the building display board. For mines, this is a little bit different than it is for a lot of other buildings, because it's a colonist. We have to take one of our colonists from our living area and commit him to the mine to work as a miner. Let's triple check that I'm pretty sure that's right. For mines, see the bullet points below. If you place the mine, you must place 1 colonist from your living quarters onto the mine. Yep, okay. That colonist is now considered a miner, will produce minerals when you travel to orbit. Yeah, that's fine. So then place the new tile face down on a hex, and we just created a complex by placing 2 mines adjacent to each other. The level of the complex technology tells you how many buildings there can be in the complex before, or how many buildings you can connect your new building to create a complex. So because our tech is level 1, we can connect our mine to 1 other mine. When you use your own technologies, they don't get the free upgrade. You know, I'm already getting the benefit of my technology here. So let's talk about the progress area. The first time that a player contributes to a colony of any building type, he gets to take his progress cube for that building type and place it in the progress area down here. The progress area doesn't do anything immediately, but at certain points during the game, we will be told to score the progress area, and everybody will get points based on the number of cubes they have down here. We'll not worry about this again until later, except you can see the C marker is here, because the C mission is cubes placed in the progress area. Placing that decrements this, and gives us a crystal into our sub-depot region, really motivating us to spend some crystals this turn. Let's make sure we get something done here. I think we might end up moving our bot anyway. Whatever, it's fine. So, now that we've done that, what's the next step? If the building tile you placed has little arrows with crystals on them, then you place crystals in the indicated hexes. So this building causes a bunch of crystals to go out onto the map. And then the building is turned face up, and we can lock it in place here on Tabletop Simulator so we don't have to worry about accidentally moving it ever again. Then gain a number of resources matching the type of the building equal to the new size of the complex. So because there is now a 2-mine complex, we gain 2 minerals. I didn't really plan ahead here. We only have 1 shelter, remember, so our maximum number of held minerals is 2. We already had 1 in there, and I didn't spend it on anything, so it's just lost. That's fine. That's a real first world problem there. First time in a game that you create or increase the size of a complex, do the progress cube thing. And then we're done, I think. That's our whole building action. So, now we can, before the end of the turn, do an executive action, and we absolutely will. We're going to spend 2 of our crystals, and I think we are just going to move our bot. I put him in the wrong place. He really should be... I'm not exactly sure where. So let's talk a little bit about what the bot exactly does, how the bot works. This robot is a... I've been calling them builder bots so far, but they're also recycler bots. So, sorry, I'm trying to find the right section of the rules that describes this. One of the things that the recycler bots do is they clean up garbage. And garbage, for our purposes, does include these crystals. So I'm trying to... Where the heck is this action? I'm trying to make sure that I do this correctly, because I'm pretty sure this robot's going to eat the crystal that just went onto his space here. Bots and rovers can pass through but not end the turn on a hex containing an advanced building, a colonist, another bot, or another rover. So we can't move our bot to this space because the bot and the colonist can't end in the same hex. Let's see. You may collect any crystals on hexes you pass through or land on. I'm reading the part about the rovers. Bots. Bots are cleaners and builders. If a bot ends its turn in a hex with a discovery or research tile, the tile is destroyed and removed from the game. If a bot ends the turn in a hex with a crystal, return the crystal back to the general supply. Okay, so he doesn't clean this up now. It's at the end of our turn. He will destroy crystals in his space. And the rover collects crystals by moving through them or ending its turn on them, and collects tiles by ending its turn on them. So, I would really like this bot to end adjacent to that mine, but I kind of want it to stay near the water building as well, because I would like to build... Well, I guess we don't have the water complex tech anyway, so we couldn't build a complex of water buildings. I do want him to be adjacent to this mine. We get to move him up to 2 spaces right now, or 1 additional space if we want to spend our other crystal, which I don't think I do. I might just move him... Yeah, I think we're just going to move him onto the initial mine. This crystal stays where it is. Okay, and that's our main action and our executive action done. So now it is Lacerda's turn, and Lacerda is going to do action 1, and this turn he will not travel with the shuttle. Important to remember. So action 1 on this side is construct a building. Okay, this is going to be interesting. So first of all, he doesn't have any crystals. So he actually can't construct a building because he can't afford to pay the additional cost. Right, let me make sure that this is colonist placement cost and illegal moves. Lacerda always has to place a colonist on actions that depict the red colonist. He pays the additional cost with crystals. If he does not have enough crystals to pay, or if the move he is doing is not allowed for some reason, then instead of performing the action, he moves his rover. Okay, so he cannot, in fact, build because he ran out of crystals. So he just has to move his rover, and he moves the rover toward the nearest tile, right? He doesn't care about these crystals that we can see over here. Rover movement's over here. So he moves toward the closest tile that he can collect. This tile is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces away, so yeah, he's moving toward the other C tile. My rover movement technology is at 2 now, so he can use it to move 2 extra spaces, which he totally does. And that gives us an heir to use to either keep or to let upgrade our technology here. I think we're going to just take this heir as heir, because when I upgrade our rover tech, it's going to move on to this get a mineral space, and I don't want to do that until we actually have room in our mineral supply. Yeah, so that's his whole turn. He's getting a little bit screwed by the randomness. I'm not going to cry for him. I could use him getting stuck a little bit. I think it's gonna help us a lot. So, that's his whole turn. Shuttle phase, the shuttle moves over. First, we get the choice of movement. I decline. We want to stay on Mars a little bit. And then he chooses not to move because his card says so. And so we enter a new colonization phase. So the way things are right now, we don't have a guy. So, if we want to continue taking actions on Mars, and I have signaled that obviously I do, we need to resolve that problem. So we're going to take this action here. This action does not have the red colonist. It does not require a colonist to play. You can commit additional colonists to get additional ships. We obviously will not be doing that. So we're just going to welcome 1 private ship. And even though there's a mission for getting more bots out, and it would be nice to have more crystals... Oh, also, sorry, at the beginning of our turn, we get our crystal that's in our sub-area. I think we're going to take 2 new colonists here, because we are desperate for colonists. And note, this indicates each ship in your hangar is worth 3 points at the end of the game. Remember, we can expend these ships to move during a shuttle phase when the shuttle could not otherwise carry us, but doing so expends the private ship, so you really got to make sure you're getting 3 points worth of value by doing that. And then it is our time to decide whether we would like to take an executive action. So by summoning that ship, we have now unlocked the executive action of spend 3 crystals to get a mineral. That's a pretty powerful one. Obviously, we don't have room for a mineral or 3 crystals at the moment. I think we just hold our crystals. This is just a 1-action turn, pretty sure. And we have lots of plans. Hopefully, we'll actually get to perform some of them. And it's Lacerda's turn, so he goes for action number 1, which is build a building. And he still is short crystals to be able to do that. We've locked him pretty good here. So he is going to go to this research tile, but unfortunately... Actually, what happens here? Does he... He doesn't have an upgrade to take. If there's more than 1 blueprint to upgrade, he doesn't have... Yeah, he doesn't... Moves toward the closest tile, either research or discovery, that it can collect. Do not count discovery tiles that give resources, as they are useless to him. It says the closest tile that it can collect. Yeah, so I guess he just moves here and collects this and sadly gets no benefit from it, but, I mean, it takes it off the table. Our dude here is having he's having a little bit of a rough go of it. Things are not unfolding the way he might like. Which, again, I'm super fine with. So the next time he moves, he will be moving toward this thing. If I want it, I better make a... Oh, also... No, he doesn't need to use our tile, because his destination was only 2 spaces away from where his rover already was, right? Yeah, he was here, and then he went 4, so yeah, okay. So he doesn't use our tile, he doesn't use our tech, he doesn't give us a bonus. Our dude desperately needs crystals. As he moves toward this discovery tile, he will drive through a crystal naturally, so that'll help him quite a bit. Alright, and then I guess that's his turn, so new shuttle phase. The shuttle moves, and then we have the option of traveling, which we will decline to spend our ship to travel. And Lacerda only moves with the shuttle, so we're in a new colonization phase. Now that we have some guys, let's figure this out. We definitely want to play a building upgrade on this mine here. Do we want to do that right now? Or would we rather... It's possible Lacerda will move. If he does move, he's going to end up 1, 2, 3. He's going to end up here. Right, because we have to path that in the way that gives him the most benefit, and obviously getting through that crystal matters. So... basically, I'm considering taking the action that allows us to move our rover and our bot just to block him, just to go get some crystals. I don't think that's... No, I don't think that makes sense. Let's just do the upgrade. Let's commit one of our new colonists over here to upgrade the upgrade space. And here's how this works. Let's make sure that I'm doing this right. So the action of upgrade a building. This action allows you to use a blueprint you have previously taken to upgrade one of the buildings on the map into an advanced building. To upgrade, follow these steps. Choose a blueprint and matching building. We're going to choose the building that our bot is standing on. Pay 1 mineral to the general supply. It always costs a mineral to upgrade one of these buildings. That is not a problem. Take your advanced building marker from the blueprint, place it on the building tile that you are upgrading. If there was a bot or rover on the tile, that is displaced, and we'll worry about the displacement rules in just a moment here. Actually, no, never mind. We're done. Let's worry about the displacement rules right now. How exactly does this work? If you construct a building on top of a crystal, return that crystal to the general supply. If you construct or upgrade a building on top of a bot or rover, that piece must be moved away from its current position by its owner to the closest available hex. So we just have to move it to somewhere where it's... we have to move it 1 hex away. I think down to here, maybe? What's my plan? I would like to be able to upgrade... this is a little awkward. I would like to be able to upgrade that water building as well. Like, that's a thing that is hopefully in our future. But that means shunting the bot over to here where he will destroy the crystal. And I was kind of hoping to take a rover move next turn and grab that crystal and that discovery tile at the same time. But I guess if I was going to grab that discovery tile, we'd have to leave the bot in a place where he can build a plant building anyway. Oh, and we can't build plant complexes because we don't have the tech. Alright, so I think I'm going to move the bot this way then. The downside of that is that it prevents us from being able to upgrade our shelter to be able to build a shelter into our shelter complex. But here, he has a legal spot where he can build a water building and a legal spot where he can build a plant building, both of which are things that we might do. And if we just build a water building here for the purpose of upgrading it, then we don't need to worry about destroying this crystal. I'm going to do that. I don't know if that's the right move, but that's what we're going to do. And then we could take an executive action here. We will not, I think. Let's see, because we're talking about building a plant building. We have the water for that. We're talking about building a water building. We have the batteries for that. We're talking about potentially upgrading. I mean, we're not going to have time to do all of these things I'm talking about. It's fine. I think we hold off. We don't executive action this turn. So then it is Lacerda's turn, and Lacerda tries to take action number 2, which he totally can take, right? Yes, upgrade a building. So Lacerda uses one of his blueprints and upgrades a building anywhere on the board. If the upgrade tech is in play, he uses it to be able to upgrade as many buildings as he can. If there's more than one blueprint to upgrade, he gives preference to the one that increases the points he earns from his scientists. And so we have an ambiguity here, right? He wants to upgrade, but there's no particular reason for it to be either of these things. So we're just gonna grab that D8. Let's say 1 through 4, he does the battery upgrade. 5 through 8, he does the other one. He rolled a 7. Okay. So Lacerda claims that building. So here's how these powers work. Let's talk about this real quick. You can use an executive action, the low executive action here, to play the power of any of your advanced buildings that you have constructed. You can also play the advanced buildings that belong to other players if you have a scientist of the appropriate type. So if we took the plant scientist, that would allow us to use his hydroponic farm the action of which is to build a plant building, using all of the normal rules and costs and stuff. Obviously, that's pretty powerful for an executive action. So we might want to... it might be worth thinking about taking the plant scientist, the ecologist. I don't know. I don't really know what the right thing to do is here. That was a pretty good turn for him, though. So now we have a shuttle phase, and we have a difficult decision to make here. We still have one colonist left. I think there's probably value in us staying on Mars a little while longer. Yeah, probably. As I'm looking at this, I'm thinking we definitely have a profitable one of these to play. We could welcome another ship and get more colonists. We could, we probably want to build our upgrade. Yeah, we definitely have stuff to do. I'm going to stay. Lacerda travels with the shuttle because his card does not tell him he can't. And I'm just realizing I think I made an error. During the shuttle phase, when Lacerda travels to orbit, he skips both of the spaces you ordinarily play on the way to doing that. But when he travels down from orbit to the planet, he does place a discovery tile, and we just totally didn't do that for him. That's not really fixable in that it it would have changed the way he moved his rover. Can't really go back and fix that. But let's do some version of this. Let's try to catch him up a little bit. So how exactly does this work? He does place a discovery tile. When placing a discovery tile, Lacerda always places the leftmost discovery tile from the exploration space. It is placed 3 spaces away from his rover and as far as possible from your rover. So he was here at that time, 3 spaces away from his rover, while as far as possible from ours would have had it go there, and then he would have moved in that direction instead of... You know what? Actually, this is totally unwindable because this research tile didn't do anything for him, right? So we don't have to reverse any game state for that. So he would have taken the leftmost discovery tile. He would have placed it here, right? Because the legal spaces are... This is 4 spaces away from our rover, while this is 5. Yeah, he would have placed it there. This is a tile that gives resources, so he would have ignored it when moving his rover, right? Do not count discovery tiles that give resources. Yeah, so actually it wouldn't have changed anything at all. That should be down on the table. He would have gone over here and taken this research tile because his rover ignores resource discovery tiles. Okay, so that we have fixed the game state. That doesn't really change much at all. Okay, now, the shuttle phase that we're currently executing for him. He moves to this space, which is just move your rover, right? Yeah, he instead moves his rover. So, he would move it 4 spaces, like we said. He drives through this crystal and takes the crystal, and it goes to his depot, and then obviously at the beginning of his next turn, it would move over to here. And he used our tech to do that, and I am going to... Well, I guess we're going to take the upgrade to the tech instead of keeping the air, because we are at air capacity. So we get a mineral, and that moves up. It makes his rover even better at driving around. Okay, so now it is the colonization phase, and Lacerda goes first. This might turn out kind of bad for us, actually, because he might get this discovery tile now, depending on what he draws here. He drew Take Action 1. In orbit, Action 1 is Obtain Blueprint. Okay, easy enough. He doesn't have any scientists yet, so he's still just grabbing whatever the leftmost blueprint is, and I left this die in an irresponsible place. Okay. So he gets himself a blueprint. Good. That's good. I was really bummed out. I was really worried that he was going to draw something that caused him to move his rover. Something he couldn't do for whatever reason. Oh, hold on. He actually does have to commit a guy to the blueprint space in order to do that thing, though. So he commits a colonist. He must pay the cost of 1 crystal, which he now can do. Okay, and then the action is taken. And we're almost out of blueprints. Alright, then it's our colonization phase. I think it behooves us to take this action right now. So, move up to 2 movement points for bots, and then up to 2 movement points for rovers. Sorry, I said and then, but you can take these in either order. And then you may spend crystals to increase the amount of movement you are doing. So one thing I know for sure we're going to do is move our rover using our advanced rover movement tech. We could go up to 5 spaces, but we're just going to use that tech to get 1 extra space. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. Sorry. So this crystal goes into our gathered waiting area, and then we get the benefit of this discovery tile, which is to build a plant building. Let me make sure, do these execute immediately, or do they execute at the end of my turn? Let's verify here really quickly how this works. Over on my other monitor. I hope everybody's having fun here. I hope everybody's enjoying being baffled by this very complicated board game. Okay. After you have performed all of your movement, if there is a discovery or research tile on the hex where your rover is, you may remove that tile from the board to gain the benefit as long as you meet the following conditions. You must not have already taken a research tile of that color. You must pay any cost associated with the benefit, so yeah, we're going to have to pay a water to make the plant building happen. We have to have a bot in a position where he can legally build a plant building and so on, which we prepared for. If you gain a tile, resolve it immediately by paying any associated cost. So, it happens immediately upon us spending all of our movement points. So we still have 2 bot movement points to consider before we figure this out. So I guess at this moment we could choose to move our bot to some new location to put down the plant building in a more useful spot for us if we wanted to. I think I'm actually okay with him where he is, though. We build the plant building here, 2 spaces away from an existing plant building. Yeah, I think this is fine. Okay, so we seed the rest of our movement points, we resolve the discovery tile. In order to build a plant building, we must pay a water, which we can absolutely afford to do. We take the plant building, place it in the legal spot. It crystals up, which is going to lead to this crystal being destroyed, because that bot is not going to get moved again. I mean, we may as well just take it off the board now. This gets flipped over and locked in place, and this is going to be a little bit more complicated than the last build, because this is the first time that we've built what's called an LSS building. So let me make sure I do this part right. Alright, place the new tile face down, make the crystals happen, gain a number of resources equal to the complex size of your new building. In our case, that is 1 plant onto our stack. Oh no, never mind, we have 2 plants already. We get no plant. I'm doing a real bad job of making sure that we're actually gaining all of our resource benefits, but that's okay. Lacerda's kind of flailing around a little bit. We'll just both play poorly and have a bad score. How about that? Okay, so we did not expand a complex. We did not create or expand a complex. We do not get a progress cube. But these 4 building types here are called the LSS buildings. When a player builds an LSS building, it moves the associated marker up 1 space, and then a bunch of things happen. These markers are for tracking how many buildings of each type there are in the world. You can see that they all started on the 1 line because there starts 1 building of each type. So let me make, where's the part about this? If you constructed an LSS building, move the corresponding marker on the LSS track up by 1 space if able. This may trigger LSS rewards, which it totally does. So the first time an LSS building of each type is built, move the marker up from the bottom row, and the player who built that building scores 2 points, as it indicates here. So check it out, the first scoring of the game. The vast majority of the points are from endgame scoring. So that's why it looks like this right now. Then, if the marker was below the row where the colony level marker is before it was moved, the player who advanced the marker gets 2 additional benefits. Number 1, you get points according to the marker at the top of the column. So this says 2 points for each private ship in your hangar. For us right now, that is 1, so 2 points for us. Hey, look at that, we're killing it. We literally doubled our score. It's amazing. And secondly, one of the benefits shown in the top left of the LSS area. So these benefits are move a bot 2 spaces, up to 2 spaces, take a crystal, take a mineral, or pick up one of your colonists. And I believe, let me verify here in the iconography reference, I believe this allows you to move that colonist back to your living quarters, not your working area. So like he would be immediately usable again. Where is that? Yes, retrieve a colonist from any action slot or from your working area to your living quarters. So that's pretty good. I think this is probably what we're taking. So we could grab back our guy from over here, just to consolidate all of our colonists. I think we actually are going back to space the next time the ship goes back to space, though. And when we do that, we'll get him back for free. So let's pull... Am I building or am I upgrading next? We want to pull the guy from the action that we intend to do next, because obviously we want to have that cost lowered. We don't have a water building we can upgrade right now. I'm wondering about maybe moving our bot after all, moving our bot with an executive action so that we could build a battery complex. Just, to build complexes, to get more LSS buildings moving, to get more progress cubes and stuff. I think we're gonna take back the guy who's in the build area. Put him back in our living quarters. He is ready to get back to work. That's pretty big for us, actually. Building an LSS building, moving it up onto the level that the colony thing is on, is a big deal. It's a pretty significant benefit. And that was just a move action we just took. Okay, we are done. It is shuttle time now. Shuttle moves back. Do you follow? You do. So when he moves down, he does place... Make sure we actually do this right this time. Places the leftmost discovery tile 3 spaces away from his rover and as far away from our rover as possible. So down here. And that is build a water building. Okay. And then he draws one of these. He's moving to space 8. Where he takes, I believe, the last available blueprint, right? Yeah. Okay, well, I hope we're happy with the blueprints we have, because we are not going to see any new ones for a while. The blueprint row refills when the LSS level changes. You can see here on, well, you know what? We'll worry about that later. The thing you need to know about the colony level is that it is going to go up when all of the LSS building markers are on the same level as it or higher. So more stuff has to get built before the colony will advance. Okay, let us... exploration phase. Or sorry, colonization phase. It is our turn. We get to do a thing. So, I think I want to take this build action now. I want to get another guy committed to that build space to stop Lacerda from getting cheap builds. Oh, hey, this crystal that we earned should be in our crystal area now. So the question is, do we want to, before building, spend 2 crystals to move our bot so that we can build a battery building, or do we want to stick to the plan and build ourselves a water building? I guess it doesn't really matter which. The other thing we could do is build... Using our bot right where he is, we could build a shelter, one of our shelters right here, so that we can later build one there and connect them as a colony. Because shelters would be nice. It would be cool to have additional dude space. I guess it's not really that big of a deal. We're not we're not getting back enough guys when we take actions for the extra space to be necessary. Yeah, let's just go ahead and build that water building so that we can contemplate this maneuver in the near future. So, to build a water building, we will pay a battery. Battery is misspelled on the game components here. We will build the water building here, the only legal tile for our bot to build it. This one does not place any crystals. We get 1 water for constructing that. And we have increased this. So we get 2 points for pushing that up to that spot on the column. Then we score 1 point. Is this 1 point for each colonist in your living quarters? Yeah, that's not so great. 1 additional score point. And then we get one of these benefits. And in this case, I think it might be move your bot. We could take a crystal. We don't have mineral space. I don't think we actually do want... we could take this guy back to prep, because we do intend to... we do intend to do an upgrade next. I'm a little worried about doing that, though, because he might take an upgrade action, and if he does, I want it to be expensive. He does not need to put down... In fact, he doesn't have any crystals right now. So removing this guy would probably be a really bad idea, because it would allow him to take the upgrade action. So yeah, let's move our bot. And we'll move our bot down to like here. So that we can just build, if we do build a shelter, we can just build it right into our network as it is. And we didn't make a colony happen, so we don't get a progress cube. Oh, wait, hold on. We don't want to move him yet, though. We wanted to upgrade still. Yeah, no, I totally don't want to move him. Okay, let's just take a crystal. And put this here. We do have space to hold a 4th crystal. And we probably will just hold on to it, because I think we want to use this crystal to be able to pay the cost of doing the upgrade. So I think we don't want to play an executive action here. We don't have room for a mineral. Yeah, I think I'm just good. Oh, we do have this executive action. Yeah, man, why would I wait? We just do this. I built this upgrade so that I could use it. So we're going to play our executive action here of spend 2 crystals to upgrade a building. Bam. It costs us a mineral when we do it. And yeah, then I think we're done. So that was our executive action. So the executive action we've just unlocked is pull in a shuttle, welcome a shuttle, but get 3 colonists or 2 colonists and a bot instead of the normal yield, which is pretty cool. And then we can commit additional guys to our working area to make it happen repeatedly. I think that's a pretty great turn for us. Alright, so now it is the yellow colonization phase. Let's see what he's got. He's got action number 1 on this side, which is build, but he can't build because crystals, so he roves instead. And roving to the nearest tile from which he can take benefit takes him down to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's an interesting question. If he uses our rover tech, he does have enough... How exactly is the rover move worded? Do I have to have him take the tile or the path that gives him the crystal in this case? It moves toward the closest tile it can collect. If tied... No, I guess not. I guess he doesn't go out of his way to get crystals. So yeah, he just moves to here. It does cost him... He does have to use our tech to get that 3rd space, so he does, according to the game rules. And he takes the build a water building action. The water colony tech is not legal, so there's actually a ton of spaces where he could legally build this, right? Starting north of the northmost one of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13... different... that's not ideal. Unfortunately, there are no 13-sided dice. I don't actually know of a way to generate a random number between 1 and 13 off the top of my head. I'm trying to think. There's not just a... I mean... Is there just /random 13? Does that work? No. Oh, that's extremely not what I wanted. Let's /help. I mean, usually the idea is you use a component to do a thing. Let's just take a quick look at this. How do I page up? It does not actually paginate. Oh, nope. Those are all of the commands. Well, then. A 12-sided die is so close to good. I don't think we can just use a 12 and ignore one of the results. Let me make sure I counted correctly. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, there are definitely 13 legal options. Here's what we're going to do. This is real clumsy. We're just going to roll a 20. And, you know... Sorry, didn't want to grab the crystal there. Most of the results are between 1 and 13 inclusive, and we might just have to, like, roll a couple of times. 4, it says. 1, 2, 3, 4. He places it here. Sort of a dick move on his part. So, crystals. The player-colored pieces cannot be in a tile with any other piece that has a player color, but buildings... I believe, can totally be in tiles that have crystals. Let's verify that. I definitely read some stuff about... Okay, here we go. Displacement rules. If you construct or upgrade a building on top of a crystal, return it to the general supply. I guess I'm going to take that to mean that crystals and buildings do not coexist. Crystals are, you know, they're wild, raw Marsinum. They really only happen on the surface of Mars. Okay, so he has pushed the water level building up. You only get these benefits, remember, if you moved up a tile that was below the colony level when you moved it. So that's not a huge benefit to him. Didn't create a complex or anything. The AI does not get resources, so he doesn't take a water. I guess that's it. I guess that's all that accomplished. That did build in a place that's a little awkward. It would have been nice to be able to build a plant complex through there. We can still build the plant complex this way instead later, I guess. Yeah, but that's going to be the end of that. Yeah, that was his rover move, right? In lieu of being able to do the thing he was trying to do. So, shuttle phase. The shuttle moves back to orbit, and now we have a decision to make. Do I want to shuttle right along with it? We have one colonist left in our living area. But I'm thinking that we might want to... we have 2 plants, but only 1 water. It would be cool to be able to take this action and get ourselves a couple more shuttles, especially since one of the LSS rewards scores based on your number of shuttles. But it looks to me like it might not be super easy to... I would really love to do it twice, right? It would be really cool if we could spend 2 crystals on this and commit a guy to our working area and welcome 2 more shuttles full of colonists and bots. We're so close. I mean, I guess we have a mineral, so we could spend the mineral as the second water. Yeah, okay, But I'm talking about an executive action here. I guess this doesn't necessarily pin us to the planet if we don't want to be on the planet anymore. We could head up and grab, like, some tile advancement, maybe? So our techs are pressed all the way against the left side of the thing here, which is preventing us from taking on new technology. Leveling up your technology does the old-fashioned way. Does cost stuff. Oh, I forgot. We have an heir that we can't take because dude used our tech to move his rover. So we should definitely take this as a technology upgrade. And that being the case, I'm pretty sure we want to take it as this just to create space for us to grab a new tech. Right, we don't want to upgrade the rover tech again, I don't think. Well, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong about that. So you can see here, up at the top, the cost to move a technology into that line via the normal upgrade action, it starts to get more and more expensive as you go, so maybe we should be taking our advancements on whatever our most expensive thing is. Oh no, sorry, I don't actually get a choice. That's right. Sorry, I'm being dumb. He used our rover tech. We take the oxygen or we upgrade the rover tech. We do not get an option here. So yes, we upgrade the rover tech. I don't know what I was thinking. Alright. So, do we want to move with the shuttle? Maybe pick ourselves up some tech advancements. We have 2 air, so if we're planning on spending our plant and our water and our minerals on an executive action during our turn, we would need 2 air to perform the other tech advancements, which I think is fine. I think that's actually reasonable. We're going to go ahead and move across. And when we do so, we are going to... We could grab a thing from the warehouse. We could take a technology right now. Doing so would cost us at least battery, though, which we don't actually have, and we can't afford to spend that mineral. We need that mineral right now. So I think actually what we do here is probably this. This space allows you to spend plant or water to get an extra colonist. We kind of want our plant and water right now. So yeah, we're going to do this thing. We're going to take a resource from the warehouse, and I guess that resource is going to be a water, so that we can preserve our mineral. Just spend 2 water and 2 plant. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And then Lacerda. Does Lacerda travel? Lacerda does travel. So let's see where to. Oh, sorry. Not all of the cards are in the thing. There we go. He goes here and gets a technology. I'm assuming the cheapest one, leftmost if there are more than one. So he takes the leftmost in the cheapest tier that is still available. He places it here and grabs the crystal from the warehouse to deny me a crystal, which is better for Lacerda than just taking a crystal from the supply, right? Okay, and that's our shuttle phase. So now, colonization. I am going to play this upgrade action, I think. But you know what? Sorry, our crystal goes up into our depot at the beginning of our turn. I think we do this first, right? So let's spend the 2 crystals to play the action of one of our advanced buildings. We're going to play this one. So we're going to... Oh, also, I totally spaced on the other things that happen when we go out of orbit, because stuff does happen for us. Stuff that Lacerda usually skips. Sorry, I'm playing all out of order. Like I said, my grasp of the rules is a little shaky. It's a little shaky. When you travel to orbit, here's things that happen before we take our any of our other actions. Move your player marker to the production space. Each of your advanced buildings on Mars produces 1 resource corresponding to the type of building. So our advanced buildings were this guy and that guy. So we didn't have room for another mineral. No, we totally have room. What am I talking about? We totally have room for another mineral. And then we wouldn't have taken a water from this thing, because we would have had a water produced by this action before we placed for turn order. So when we place for turn order, and I'm just going to say that is our placement, we got to take something else. We can't take water or plant or air or mineral, so I guess that makes that decision pretty straightforward. That's fine. Battery's good. We like battery. Alright. Each advanced building you have on a shelter produces a crystal. Each of your colonists or advanced buildings on the mines will produce a mineral. So actually, we do get 1 additional mineral that we can't place, because we only have room for 2. Then move your player marker to the retrieve colonist space, which causes you to retrieve any colonists on the board who are already on the orbit side, plus any colonists who are in your working area. Then we would have been placed here. Okay, so now, our turn. We do our executive action to do this thing. This extra colonist doesn't actually do anything for us. So we welcome a ship at a cost of water and plant, and take either 3 colonists or 2 colonists and a bot. Obviously, we'll take 2 colonists and a bot on this. And when we get a bot, where does it go? Hold on. Welcome a ship. Place a new bot on one of your shelters that is currently empty. If none of your shelters are empty, place the bot on the closest available empty space to one of your shelters. Okay. We do, in fact, have a shelter the bot can go on, and then if he's still there at the end of our turn, he will delete the crystal. I'm pretty sure he is still going to be there at the end of our turn. And that is one of the missions. So this thing gets decremented, and we earn 2 crystals for our trouble into our waiting area. Then, and also, like, the ship actually gets welcomed. That's an important part of that. We've unlocked the executive action to spend 3 crystals to do an upgrade. So you can see these actually get, like, quite a bit more powerful as you go up. Then we do have the option of doing it again. We could commit a man from our working area. If we do so, we will, of course, get more points and stuff, but some of the colonists will be wasted. I think I'm going to do it. We'll commit a man to our working area to do this one more time. We again spend water plus plant, move a ship over. We take this as 2 colonists and a bot, so 1 colonist, and then 1 colonist is gained but has nowhere to go, and so is immediately discarded, so we have no empty spots. And then the bot can't go directly on our shelter, it has to go on a space adjacent. I will have it go here, I think? Right, because the water colony tech just got taken, so I guess we already have the ability to build into a water colony. Although right now, it only allows you to connect your new building to one other building, so we actually couldn't build a water building there because the colony is too great in size. So yeah, we'll put the second bot here, and we will once again get some benefit here. 2 more crystals into our waiting area. We actually have quite a bit of space in our depot for crystals now. We can really build up a supply. Alright, so that was our executive action. Now we're going to take our main action of this thing. So let's play a colonist onto that action, and we get to do 2 upgrades of resource here. Or two upgrades of technology. And we do actually have to pay for these ones. So, I think our first move is going to be... This is expensive and a pain, and actually upgrading a tech to get blueprint or build blueprint, like neither one of those are actually good rewards at the moment. So let's move this up to here. We'll pay mineral as the cost for that, and then get a mineral back. That's a point is gained and it's resource neutral. And then we'll move this up. Right, because we don't have a battery complex yet. There's no reason that we need to expand the size of our available battery complex. But that should get moved up. And we have to pay 1 anything, and I think on that one we pay an air. Yeah, that makes sense. And then the question, do we want to commit additional dudes to our working area to do even more upgrade? I mean, we have air, battery, mineral. We probably shouldn't just... Yeah, we should totally just we should take upgrades where we can. So let's commit another guy to our working area. I'm doing this in kind of the wrong order. Yeah. Commit a guy to our working area to do it 1 more time. Hold on, let me verify. For each guy you commit to your working area, do you repeat the action or do you get 1 more upgrade? Develop any 1 tactile in your laboratory once for each colonist you move to your working area. Okay. So moving that guy over to there lets us do this at a cost of battery. Then moving this guy over to here lets us do this at a cost of air. And then moving this guy over to here lets us do this at a cost of mineral paid as air, which comes back immediately. And now we have some pretty developed technologies, and hopefully we'll be in some kind of position to get benefit from those. Yeah, I think that makes sense. That's a lot of points that we just gained. It does run us out of guys right away, but I'm thinking we're maybe going to take the shuttle back immediately. I guess the only reason we might not want to do that is if we wanted to pick up some of the complex tech over here. But no, I think we're good. So yeah, that's our main action done. We did an executive action already. This is a very productive turn. Lacerda's turn. There's 5 cards left in his deck. He takes action 3, which is upgrade, right? Yes, research and develop. So most developed tech, then least developed tech, but he still... Oh no, he does have a tech, that's right. He totally did pick one up. So he develops it twice. It moves his bot. That's how bot movement moves for Lacerda. That's just points that he gained there. Not as many points as we gained. It's not nearly as impressive. Oh, sorry. First of all, he gained this crystal. Secondly, that's a red colonist action, so he does actually have to commit a colonist there. And doing so costs him this crystal because we already committed to it. Because he has one extra unit of price to pay. Okay, that's his actual turn. And then, the shuttle. I will absolutely move back, so we get to place a discovery tile. What are these? This one is build an oxygen building. This is construct any type of building. Okay, well it's not exactly rocket science. Obviously we'll want to put that one down. It goes exactly 3 tiles away from our rover. I think I'm going to put it over here. Probably not a huge surprise. Keep it nice and far away from Mr. Lacerda. And then we move to here, which is recover colonists. So, this is a little bit unfortunate for us. We recover all of the colonists from this side of the board. And then we recover the colonists from our working area, and anybody who doesn't have a place to go just goes back to the supply. So we gotta make sure that when we welcome these last 2 private ships, we get our money's worth, because we gotta fill up some spaces. It's possible that this was a bad play, but I wanted to commit private ships early, first of all, just to secure some points, but secondly, to make sure that we could get best benefit on this next time we have to take it. That was probably bad. I probably should have built a shelter by now. Oh, also, this crystal totally was destroyed. We did not move our bot off of it before the end of the turn. Okay, so now that we've done that, we get to pick a space over here. So do we want a resource from the warehouse? Possibly. We're actually pretty tight on resources right now. We do have 2 minerals. I'm gonna take a resource from the warehouse, I think. We're gonna take the air, because I don't believe that it is necessary for us to move our bots at this moment. We can't take a blueprint. I guess I can't actually build... Oh, I was about to say, but I can't even use this air to build an air building. That's not how it works. Air builds shelters. And yes, I definitely want to take the air. We need to build a shelter really badly. We also have lots of other building types that we'd like to make, but this is right. Okay, so yeah, we move on to this space. And then Lacerda follows us across, because he's a great big copycat. He likes to move on to space 7, which just moves his bot. Yep, move Lacerda's bot over to here. I gotta remember to actually put these back in the decks after I am done with them. Alright, well, I mean, things are developing. We have a strategy going. We have some buildings that can be used for some things. I'm a little bummed out about some of the parts of... pretty bummed out about my shelter play. That's alright. We're still kind of grasping the whole thing. I'm realizing I did not decrement this when Lacerda took his technology. He should totally have 1 more crystal. That might come up this turn even, so it's important to make sure we mark that. Okay, our turn. Colonization phase. First things first. Crystals! We had 4 crystals in our waiting area. Hooray. Alright, it behooves us to get building. Get busy building. So, I think we want to build a battery building. And when we build the battery building, we're going to get 2 points for each shelter we've constructed. I'm pretty sure that that's what that is. Yeah, each shelter you have on Mars. So we know we also want to build a shelter. Let's do that part first. Let's take one of our colonists, commit him to the building action. Building a shelter costs an oxygen, an air, as noted here. And we're going to go ahead and put that right there. Yeah, we paid our oxygen. So let's make sure that we're doing this correctly. This is the first time that a shelter has been built this game. There's no progress area for shelters. So gain a number of resources matching the type of building equal to the new size of the complex. Shelters gain crystals. Yep, that's what's noted on them. So 2 crystals for us into the waiting area. And we could actually just bank this turn. We could just hold all of this stuff. It doesn't seem like that's probably the right thing to do. Actually, I don't know. It totally might be. And then I think that's actually it. It's not an LSS building, so it doesn't adjust the LSS tracks at all. It has no progress indicator. Yeah, okay, we just built a shelter. And now that we've got that shelter, we have space for 2 more guys. Sadly, just a little bit too late, unfortunately. Do we want to take an executive action? I don't think we need to move any of our guys right now. We could pull something from the thing if we wanted to, I guess. Do we want to? Water and plant are not exactly in super high demand right now. You know what? I'm going to. Let's pull plant. I don't know that we'll need it, but I am looking at this and thinking like an oxygen building to move that tile up might not be a bad idea, and there is a plant in the warehouse. Okay, so that's the end of our turn. Then Lacerda's turn during the colonization phase. Lacerda will not be following the shuttle back up this turn. He has pulled action 3, hire a scientist or take an Earth contract. Ooh, this is the first time he's done that. So Lacerda hires the scientist that will score him the most potential victory points based on the number of blueprints owned by each player. What is the most plentiful upgrade type? Actually, it's exactly even amongst all of them. There was one of each type of building in the display. So this is just a resolving ambiguity thing. We will roll a d6. Yep, okay. That is extremely doable. Let's spawn yet another component. You so love. Extra dice on the table. Alright, so this is 1, this is 6. He has chosen Scientist 1. The Geologist, I think? That's not great for us. He's gonna get a fair number of points probably from that. Okay, so he doesn't actually use the Scientist at all. The Scientist is just sitting here dead, but it will be worth points at the end of the game. And then, once a scientist has been hired, you have this deck of contracts over here. The space that they used to occupy is instead filled with a contract. These are like shipping contracts in many, many, many other board games, where like this says, after you have taken this tile, if you commit 4 minerals to it, at the end of the game it will be worth 9 points. If you do not succeed on filling it, it will be worth negative 4 points. So you really shouldn't take these unless you're reasonably sure you will hit them. That's pretty good for him, I think. It's a good strong turn for Lacerda. Alright, and that makes it the shuttle phase. We are not going to go up with the shuttle, neither is Lacerda. He's getting smart. And so we move into another colonization phase, like basically immediately. I am thinking that this might be... we might have to build right now. I think it would be a real bad idea not to build right now, just in case he draws build with his action. We can block him here. So it costs us 1 extra crystal or 1 colonist committed to the working area. I'm going to pay this in crystal, just in order to commit the guy. And then we're going to build a battery building, which costs 1 mineral. And we're going to put that battery building right here. Oh wait, did that have... That totally has crystals on it. We do have to place those. Okay, so here and here. We have the battery colony tech, so that that thing totally works. We have created a colony, which gives us a battery progress indicator. Goes up here, and because we added a progress cube, this decrements and we get a crystal. We also receive resources equal to the size of the new complex, 2 batteries for us. And we move the battery indicator up. That is 2 points plus 2 points per shelter that we have, which is another 4. Yeah, we are totally crushing him. Serta has no chance. He's sitting on a lot of points over here, actually. We are not safe at all. Okay, and then we could take an executive action. Do we care to? What is the next thing that we might want to do? I guess building an oxygen building is pretty good right now. The oxygen colony tech is still up there, so we'd have to build it. How would we want to do that? Because we might at this moment want to take the executive action to move a bot, right? Right now, we legally could play the oxygen building right here. This is totally fine. That does make it very difficult to get an oxygen colony going using it in the other one, but I don't think that matters much. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're not going to move our bots. So I guess the question is, do we want to take from the warehouse? I think the answer is yes. I think we're going to spend 2 crystals to grab this other air. Not saying that I'm definitely going to build another shelter, but I am thinking about building another shelter. Okay, and then Lacerda's turn. Lacerda plays action number 2, which is upgrade time? Yes. Lacerda uses one of his blueprints and upgrades a building anywhere on the board. If the upgrade tech is in play, he uses it a bunch. Right, so he would prefer to build a thing that's going to give him points from his scientist, which is battery-related upgrades. So he does that. Does it matter to him that he would displace my bot? Probably not, right? So we just pick one of these at random. Let's say the one with my bot on it is the low numbers, and the one with the crystal is the high numbers. Okay, low numbers. He displaces my bot, and that moves it to a location of my choice that is adjacent. Does it help me to have a bot over here? I guess, why not? Like, spread them out, right? I guess. Okay, cool. So that's pretty good for him. That was a lot of points. And then that's his whole turn, so we have a shuttle phase. I am going to elect not to use a personal shuttle to travel. Probably not a big surprise to anybody. So, new colonization phase. What do we need to get done here? It would be good to do another build. We have 2 crystals here and 2 colonists available. So this is a pretty expensive build. But if we build the oxygen building, which we can afford to do, we get a lot of points and we upgrade the colony level, which is probably pretty beneficial to us. One of the things that will happen is that the blueprint track will refill, which may well be valuable to us. What are my other options? We could take a scientist of our own. We could welcome a shuttle, which is not like... Well, we don't really have a lot of resources. Welcome a shuttle is not actually super available to us. We could build another shelter, right? We could shelter complex right here, because our shelter complex technology is very upgraded. I think we want there to be more blueprints pretty badly, though. Because that way, like, these upgrades can start being meaningful. So yeah, let's do that. Let's build... I'm going to play the very expensive build action. It is going to cost both of my crystals, or do I want to spend colonist to the working area plus crystal? Because we can go back to space this turn. I think we're likely to, actually. So yeah, let's spend this as 1 colonist in the working area plus 1 crystal to pay the additional placement cost there. And then we're going to take air building, place it here. This is the only legal spot where I can place one. There were no crystals on that. We have to spend plant to make that happen, which we absolutely will. We gain resources equal to the new the size of the new building thing. That's not a complex, so we don't get a progress cube. But we do move this thing up, which is pretty big for us. So, 2 points. Plus X, what is this? What is this one? OP equal to the level of your most developed tech tile, which is 4. Hard to be upset about 4 more points. And then one of these, which is probably crystal. Because right now we have 1 crystal. Yeah, I think the reward we want from that is crystal. And then we can't take an executive action because we don't have that second crystal available to us yet. Oh, hold on, sorry. Before we do anything else, let me make sure. What is the timing on the life support system upgrade? Whenever all of the markers advance to the row with the colony level marker or higher, colony status is updated at the end of your turn. Which is now, I guess. I don't have anything else I want to do. So, the colony marker moves up. You can see the colony is now level 2. New blueprint cards may be added to the display. If the colony has just reached level 2, all of the existing blueprint cards are flushed. The remaining level 1 blueprint cards are all dealt out to the bottom row of the display, like so. And then the top row is filled with level 3s. And if the colony gets upgraded again, all of the level 1s flush out, and the rest of the level 3s are dealt out to the bottom row here. So these are a little bit different. First of all, they are plus minus 5 points, so it's a little bit more of a gamble to build them. Also, in order to upgrade a building with the higher level blueprints, the building has to be part of a colony of at least 3 buildings of that type. But the effects are pretty powerful. You can see, like, take upgrade actions, get yourself a contract. This one is just gain 2 points. They're good. They're pretty good blueprints. Okay, what else? Also, if we weren't playing a 2-player game, the tech track would refill. There's a second stack of tech tiles that is not used in a 2-player. Then refill the warehouse. So in 2 players, you only use 2 of the rows here, but these rows refill, which is nice because this was starting to run out. This ran out a lot less slowly this game than it did in my first game with an actual other person. The first 2 times that the colony status is updated, progress is scored. So I gain 2 points for having 2 cubes in the progress area, and Lacerda gets nothing because he's terrible at building. And then, if the colony level is now 3 or higher, so you can see here the indicator, if the colony level is now 3 or higher, the cube moves. So if we upgrade the colony level, it will decrease the number of missions that are necessary to end the game. The game can end either by the colony level rising or by missions getting completed. And we're starting to get close to seeing some movement on that. This will move as soon as 1 more bot is built, and we're getting close to running this deck out. And remember, after this deck runs out, Lacerda moves a cube every single turn, regardless of whether he's actually doing any of the actions associated with the goals. So this is going to accelerate really quickly. Alright, that was our colonization phase, so now it's Lacerda's turn. He takes action 2, and he is going to follow the shuttle this turn. Action 2 is upgrade. He does not have another building. that is related to his scientists, so we will 1 through 3 will upgrade this building, 4 through 6 the other one. Okay, he upgrades that, and I don't know that it matters too much which building it's going to go on. We'll say this one is 1 through 3. That was not much of a roll, but the game assures me. I pressed the randomize button. The game assures me that was random, so another building up for him could be bad news for us. He's starting to score a lot of points down here, which makes me a little nervous. Shuttle phase. Do we want to travel? I think we want to travel. I think we exhausted all of our colonists, so I think we had better. So, when we travel, first of all, production. We now have 3 resource capacity for all of our resource types. Our advanced buildings produce, so we get 1 water plus 1 mineral plus another mineral for the mine that has our colonist on it. And we actually get to hold all of that. 2 minerals and a water. 2 minerals when you leave the planet is pretty handy. That's a nice thing to have. And then we retrieve colonists. So our colonist from this side of the board comes back, as well as our colonist from our living area. And we get to pick a space to go onto. I'm kind of thinking technology is the play at this point. I'm not sure which technology, though. I guess alternatively we could take this space, pay water or plant to gain 1 colonist. You know what? In fact, I think that might be exactly what we do. So I don't know that we need this water. I guess we are incentivized to build another plant building, because now the plant marker is below the colony level again. So, yeah, you know what? I'm going to take the extra colonist. We're not going to worry too much about the water, because we have plenty of minerals. Minerals are basically water. You can drink a rock. Ever hear that famous saying about blood from a stone? Okay, so you move over here. You go to this space where you take... What does he take from the warehouse? Whatever there is the most of. In the case of a tie, he takes the leftmost one, crystals first. Alright, and most resources would just be destroyed when he takes them. Crystals he actually does get. Okay, and then it's his turn, so I guess I should have just put that crystal directly in his depot. And the final card is a 1, which is take a blueprint, right? Yes. Blueprint of the type that scores his scientists, so he is looking for upgrades to battery buildings. There is in fact only 1 legal choice for him. He's doing alright on that thing. That scientist is going to end up being pretty good for him. And then it is... Oh, sorry, he has to pay, though. And it's a colonist, and he must pay the 1 crystal price for there having been a colonist committed already. Did we forget to discovery tile when he moved back to the planet the last time? I think so. It's probably not a big deal. At this point, he's not moving his rover all that much because he can actually take actions now. He often has a crystal. Alright, our turn. We basically did that just to retrieve stuff. But while we're here, we could take a blueprint ourselves, and you know what? It might well be worth it. These higher level blueprints are definitely worth some points. So what are our options? I don't even... What the hell does this say? Recycling bots? Which guy are you? Recycling bots. Spend up to 2 movement points to move your bots. You may spend crystals to move further. For this movement, treat your bots as if they were rovers. Ah, that's actually a pretty cool card. Yeah, that's exciting. Because we have lots of bots, and we could definitely stand to have them picking up research tiles and stuff. Or we could just take, like, upgrade your tech. We could just take get 2 points. There's nothing wrong with that. What does the aqueduct actually do? Move up to 2 colonists from your working area to your living quarters. Oh, wow. Yeah, some of these upgraded buildings are... These higher tier buildings are real good. I guess we gotta remember, in order to build one of these, we have to be able to put the advanced building on a colony of 3 of the building type. So if we wanted to take the mineral mine, I mean, we could make a colony of 3 mines. That's absolutely doable. This is kind of out of the question then. And the other one we were excited about was water, which is... that's totally doable too. His water tech is upgraded, so we could... Yeah, we totally could. I think let's play the very expensive get upgrade action and take this. Take the thing that gives us points, raw points. The other thing we can do is just take a tech, I suppose. This technology is not so good, creating colonies of oxygen, but plant colony is not terrible. We can make a decent plant colony and get another progress cube. Because the progress cubes will get scored at least one more time before the game is over. They get scored at the end of the game. So, continuing to build progress. That also gives us more crystals and stuff. You know what? Yeah, let's do that. We'll play the get technology action, and we'll take this at a cost of battery plus anything, which I'm going to play as battery plus battery. Maintain our mineral supply. We'll put that here, and we'll get crystal. We'll get the other crystal from the warehouse to prevent him from getting it. I don't think we need to take another random resource. Yeah, I'm fairly sure that's right. And then we do have a colonist, so we could commit another colonist. Oh, sorry, I should make sure I'm actually pulling this down, and we get a crystal in our waiting area for that. Do we want to commit another colonist here and buy one more thing? So this is the oxygen colony tech. This is get more upgrades per upgrade action. I actually think we don't want this to exist, because it would be nice for the for Lacerda to, you know, make use of our super upgrade tech. But my concern is he would get too much benefit from it. And this one allows you to welcome additional colonists when you pull in ships. You know what? That might well be worth having, actually. Oh, yeah, we'll move one guy to our working area to take this here at a cost of air plus air. Sorry, one of these has to be a battery. So a cost of mineral as battery plus air. Yeah. So decrement that one more time, get one more crystal. Doing well on those at least. And then we could executive action if we wanted to. If we were going to, we would want to... We need to move our bot over to here, I think. But I also think that I want to take a rover action when we get back down to the planet. So we don't necessarily need to move the bot now. We could move him as part of the rover action. Other option we have is burn crystals for... we can't afford to do anything other than these two things, right? We could get a warehouse, or we could use one of our actions here. I think let's go ahead and pay 2 crystals for a thing from the warehouse, because we have so much income. So we're talking about building a plant building, we may as well take the water. Okay. Yeah, that's us. So now, shuttle phase. When the shuttle moves now... Oh, wait. The shuttle had already... Yeah, sorry. I made a small error during the last turn's shuttle phase. The shuttle was supposed to go to this space, you can see here. As the colony grows, the space the shuttle moves to is further back. So during this turn's shuttle phase, the shuttle goes there, doesn't transfer sides, and I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to spend the ship. We'll just find something else to do in space for a turn. Okay, so that makes it a new colonization phase, Yellow's colonization phase, and it has happened. We are now on the second playthrough of his deck, so make sure that we understand this right. Alright, after you have shuffled the deck once, in addition to Lacerda performing his action, move the indicated mission tracker cube down 1 space, and Lacerda gets crystals for contributing to the mission. So he moves the A mission tracker down and receives 1 crystal for working on that. And he takes action number 3, which is upgrades, right? Action number 3 in orbit. Yeah, research and development. Okay, so commit colonists to research and development. Get on there. Pay the crystal for the 1 colonist you already have on research and development, and then move this up twice. And I guess, is it clear to me which one of these spots he should take? 2 techs are tied, develop the bottom one. I mean, so we have to do this in the way that gives the most advantage to Lacerda, right? If there isn't a clear choice, then randomize. What do we think is best for him? Is it best for him to build one of the black blueprints that he already has, or is it best for him to take a new one? You know what? It's probably best for him to build one of the ones he already has, because he has one that is of his scientist type. So this will obliterate this crystal. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Alright. And then that's his whole deal, right? That moved twice. So I guess it's out of places to move anyway, because his rank 6 is already full. So, okay, his turn is done. It is our turn, and what do we want to do here? We have, first of all, 4 crystals. That's important to note. So we could use these crystals to grab ourselves a blueprint. Grabbing a blueprint this way seems like a real pain. I think we might want to just, like, take a technology. Oh, we can't take a technology. We have... Those are full already. If you don't have any spaces in your leftmost column, you just can't. So I guess we could landing pod... That landing pod feels wrong. So we could develop. It'll cost us 2 colonists, or it'll cost us 2 crystals just to play develop. But there's a fair number of points on the table. Oh, we could take one of those fancy blueprints too. Yes, we should absolutely do that. So you get committed here to pay 2 crystals for the 2 colonists he already has devoted to it. And then we definitely want to, like, we want to do this at a cost of air plus anything. I should probably be getting rid of these tokens once we've used them. So that's take a blueprint. And do we want to grab... Let's see. The colony blueprints for everything except air, or the colony techs for everything except air, are already taken. So there's a lot of stuff available. This one's just grab a blueprint. But it's a shelter thing, and we have 2 shelters already, so it'd be pretty easy to be able to play that. What types of... His shelter-related building is the only one he hasn't built. I was trying to think, like, if we were going to recruit a scientist, where would we want to, put the guy? Which scientist would we want? We'd want it to be one that is well represented among the completed buildings already, but I guess they're all pretty similar, actually. So yeah, we want it to be either mine or shelter related. I'm just going to take the mineral mine. We'll figure it out. We can make this happen. And it could be worth a fair number of points. The game's not going to be... We're rapidly moving toward the end. Alright, so... That was 1 movement. We get 1 more movement. And I guess it doesn't matter a huge amount which one it is. I guess this is smart. Right? Oh, let me do this. Sorry. We have 2 minerals. So we can't do this thing. Because it would cost 2 minerals to move up to that tier. And then 1 more mineral to do the upgrade. Oh, we don't have the buildings for it yet anyway, right? I think I do, in fact, just move this up out of the way so that we can take Move this one up, out of the way, at a cost of anything. We could take a new tech if we really wanted to, I guess. Okay. So that's our action. Now shuttle phase. The shuttle swaps sides. Does Lacerda go? Lacerda goes. He gets to go first. So he places a discovery tile, the leftmost discovery tile, exactly 3 tiles away from his rover, and as far as possible from my own. And then goes to space 8. He loves space 8. I do not like him getting more blueprints, because he's really efficient at building them. So wait, how does this work in this situation? Take the leftmost card from the row with the most cards in it, bottom row if tied. They are in fact tied. He has a lot of blueprints. At least they're not all scoring right this moment. And then we are also absolutely traveling back. It is, without a doubt, time to travel back, so we get to place a discovery tile. This is get 3 water, that's build a battery. Actually, get 3 water, I think? Honestly, I don't think we're going to use either of them. Well, no, I probably want it to be... Yeah, I want it to be the battery one. Sorry, I'm being silly. I don't need 3 water. And it doesn't really matter where we put it, I don't think. Hey, we're not going to use it, I guess, because why would we not just use this version of the thing, right? Build any building. Okay. So that's that, and then we move over here. We grab all of our colonists on this side of the board back, plus the colonist in the working area. Okay. So we stand to gain a lot from building a plant building. The plant tech. Plant tech's the one I didn't develop. We absolutely do want to make a colony of plants, so I need to move a robot at some point here. So I think that's what we're going to take as our turn order space. We're going to move bot. We're going to move this guy to here. Yeah. Okay. Feel fairly confident about that. So, colonization phase. Our turn. Do we want to do the rover move? I guess I didn't need to do this if I was going to do the rover move. Would it have been better to take a resource from the... Yeah, absolutely it would have. Absolutely that would have been better. You big dummy. Well, I made a stupid. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. Let's go ahead and play this action, though. So we're going to move the rover wherever the hell we feel like moving it, basically, right? We have 5 bonus rover movement points. So I move my rover 7 spaces. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Get ourselves some crystals real quick. That seems pretty alright. Oh god, physics. That crystal that flew off the table. Usually when things fly off the table, they respawn sort of in the middle of the table. It looks like that one maybe didn't. I don't see a crystal in the... Oh, it's probably this. One that's just kind of sitting on its side as though it has been hurled. I was looking at the center of the board, but the board is not. It's in the top half of the table, so that makes sense. Okay, so 3 crystals for my effort, plus the discovery tile to make a move action, or to do a build action. We get to move the bot. We also have 2 bot movement points. Do we want to spend those? I guess I'm going to move this bot here for spite. And then this bot's not accomplishing anything at all right there. So he may as well move... See, you've got my shelter and my plant building covered. I guess you move to the place where you could build a water building? Because, yeah, water... I guess so. Sure. But, I mean, there's no sense in it being there. He may as well move 2 spaces, and this way he could build the mine or the water building. Okay, that's a decent move. Alright, let's resolve this discovery tile. Do a build action. What is most pressing? The answer to that would be make a colony of plant tiles or make a colony of oxygen tiles, right? And we know we can't do this. So plant. We have water to pay to get the building tile. We'll put it down directly underneath our bot. For some reason I can't seem to... There we go. Good boy. So we paid water. We get 2 plants for making our colony. Because we made a colony, we get to move our progress cube over here, and this progress cube's worth a fair amount of points. We also decrement the Make Progress Cube mission and add a 4th crystal to our waiting area. And then we upgrade this and receive 2 points per shuttle in our hangar, which is 6 points. Kinda totally killing it on current score. We'll see how things turn out in the end. And then that's it, right? We got our plants. Yeah. Do we want to make an executive action happen? All it would be is... Let's see, we need to build a mine before we could do this thing. We don't have water, so we couldn't take advantage of that. I think I actually just don't play an executive action here. Or no, I should get something from the warehouse. Because I'm going to have 4 crystals here. There's no sense in hanging on. So we know we want to build another shelter. So let's take the air. Okay. Yeah. That's my turn. Now it's your turn. Your turn is Decrement Mission C. Get free crystal. So we'll just put this right in your depot. And then action 3 is on this side, hire a scientist. Okay, he hires the scientist that will score the most points. There are 3 mine blueprints. The scientist who scores off of upgraded mining buildings is the systems engineer. I need to take scientists more seriously. We should be getting scientists. Oh, wait, hold on. I just realized something. We totally spaced on something. When he played his first scientist, he had to do this. You'll notice there is only 1 space for each player's stuff in the scientist area, so he doesn't actually get a scientist right now. He can't play another guy there. Which means that instead he moves his rover. He moves his rover to the nearest discovery tile that he can take. That was more than a 1-tile move. I'm going to assume that if he has the option of spending crystals instead of tech, he probably does that, right? Like, why upgrade my tech if he doesn't have to? He uses any available tech and spends additional crystals if required. He uses any available tech and then spends it. The way that's worded, it makes it sound like he prefers to use the tech and hold on to his crystal. So what does this do? He builds an air building. Alright. And he used my tech. I'm just not even going to keep this. We are absolutely taking that upgrade. Alright, so he builds an air building. Where can he do that? There are no colonies allowed, so this is actually pretty good for him. He's going to score well on this. How many legal spaces are there? Starting north of this guy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, that's handy. That's a size of die. You know what we needed was another die on this table. Did I already spawn a D12 at some point? I don't even remember. It's a 9. Had to be one I'd have to count a bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right there. He doesn't have to pay anything. Crystals are generated. Alright, that is built and committed, and he built an LSS building for the first time. So, let's, first of all, he gets this LSS reward, which is OP equal to the level of his most developed tech tile, which is 6. Congratulations, welcome to the scoreboard. And then, there's a note in the building area. Always tries to build the largest available thing. After constructing, move his bot to the next icon after the... Oh, shit, I forgot to do this. That's no good. Lacerda should have placed a shelter according to his construction rules, then takes one bot which is placed on his player board. It is never placed on the main board, but it counts toward LSS rewards or missions. So we did level up the colony one time, and this totally should have happened. It's fine. It's fixable. So he places a shelter. It would have been in a location... He doesn't get to colony it, unfortunately for him. It doesn't matter. So hold on. We'll do that in a second here. What I was trying to verify was I remembered when he builds an LSS building, I believe he gets back his guy from the scientist area. Where was that? Extra rules for Lacerda. When Lacerda builds an LSS building, if he has a colonist on the higher-end scientist action slot, he chooses the reward of retrieving that colonist. So he takes this to get this guy back, so the next time he pulls by a scientist, he can actually do it. Okay. Let's fix this problem. We have forgotten when we leveled up the colony. I totally spaced on this. So he just places a shelter according to the normal place of shelter rules. So I think all of this stuff had been built already, right? This plant building had not been built. So his stuff was already surrounded. So he would have had to have placed on the outside 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 legal spaces. Let's get that D8 over here. He builds in the northmost spot. There is where he would have built. And he gets a bot. It's just placed on his player board, and I think this would have happened, right? That's him making a bot. He gets credit for that. He gets 2 crystals in his region over here. Yeah, pretty sure that's right. So that means that one of the missions is completed. We have drawn closer to the end of the game. And then... So he did that. That was his move. That was his couldn't hire a scientist, so he moved, which caused him to build, which has enabled him to, at some point in the future, hire a scientist if he wants to. And then the bot, his bot moves after he builds. Okay, well, that has made our turn a little clearer. But first, the shuttle should have been moved to here. First, there is a shuttle phase, where this happens. Not exactly a fascinating one. Not a big deal. Alright, well, we need to build. The question here is, does it make any sense for us to, during our colonization phase here, does it make any sense for us to build using the build action, or should we take the move action? Because the thing we want is to build a battery, right? So we could have our guy go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can't quite make it back to the battery tile. What about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? So yeah, if we do this, we don't have to commit a guy to the table, and we gain a crystal. But we don't commit a guy to the table, which could be bad in the sense that it doesn't force Lacerda to spend an extra crystal doing a thing later. Also, the game's actually pretty close to ending. If we build this battery building, then we will reduce the number of missions needed to end the game by 1. And then if Lacerda draws a card that has the A mission on his turn, we will trigger the end of the game. We need to make sure that we can get this thing done by that time. The way the end of the game works, when the end of the game is triggered, at the end of the colonization phase, if the remaining missions marker has reached the end of its track, the end of the game is triggered. When the end of the game is triggered, play until the end of the current round, then play one more round, but skip the shuttle phase in the final round. Okay. So if he ended the thing on his turn, which he could, we would have one more round during which we could build the final mine and then take the executive action to construct our final advanced building so we don't lose points on that. I think actually that's fine. Let's take a moment here and look at the solo goals. So reach at least colony level 3. We will totally have done that. Could this actually be a win? We've basically just been playing to try to generate a good position here. Complete at least one contract. Oh, contracts. Hey, I forgot about contracts. We would need to... Ooh, that's going to make things tricky. Complete one private goal card. Oh my god, you guys. I forgot about the private goal cards. Hold on, we'll look at that in a second. Have a level 6 tech, we totally do. Have more OP than Lacerda, I think we do. So in order to get a first colonist's victory, we need to complete a contract before the end of the game. Let's talk about private goal cards. Check this out. We have 3 cards in our hand that I didn't want to talk about at the beginning of the game because I was like, this is just needless complexity. We'll talk about them like midway through once it's possible that we have completed them. And then I forgot about them for the entirety of the game. So here's the deal. We have 3 cards in our hand that can effectively, that can be played at any time during our turn if we have met the condition. For example, on this one, have an advanced building on a colony of 4 or more buildings of one type. To claim one of the rewards on the right side of the card. This one is have hired a scientist and completed an Earth contract. And this one is, what is that? Yo, what is that? Are these the private goal cards? They are. Okay. Have 3 discovery tiles taken from the map with your rover. Oh, that's cool. That one we almost have. Yeah, so we could have that this turn. And the possible rewards for that are take 2 tech upgrades for free, or move your rover 5 tiles. Neither one of those things gets me the Earth contract. And this is a rough Earth contract for minerals, because we don't have the ability to have 4 minerals at once, so we'd have to accomplish this in a couple pieces. A couple of different moves. We might not be able to get that first colonist goal. Hopefully, even if we lose here, hopefully this has been useful to people in understanding the game. People including me. I think this bot ate this crystal quite some time ago. We should probably remove that from the map. I definitely have I feel like I have a better grasp of the rules now. Fairly late in the game. Alright, I think we are in fact taking the move action here. We are going to use our technology, so our rover gets to move 8 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we grab the crystal that is closest to Lacerda's rover out of glorious spite. And that allows us to build a battery building, which is, I think, a pretty big deal. So in order to build a battery... Oh, no. Oh, we don't have a mineral. Okay, before we do that, we take the executive action of paying 3 crystals to get a mineral. Sweet, sweet executive action. Okay, now we build our building. We pay this. Put you down right here. right? We have the battery tech. Yes, a new battery building can be connected to 2 other battery buildings. That is totally fine. Although expanding our battery colony benefits... Oh no, it doesn't actually benefit him. There are no higher level advanced building cards. We wouldn't have wanted him to be able to build a tier 2 advanced building, but that's not a possibility here. So sure, fine, let's build it there. Because this way we'll get more batteries for it. Alright, so we have paid our mineral. We connect that. We get 3 batteries because of the size of our new colony, which is fun. Our battery progress cube is already placed, so we don't get progress, but we do get this. So 4 points and an upgrade to the colony level, which does a whole bunch of things, and we're going to totally get them all this time. Right? Probably. Maybe. It's possible. Colony status update. Alright, move the colony marker up 1 row. Blueprint cards. Stuff happens to them. These ones all go away. New ones get dealt. My suspicion is this is not going to matter very much. If the colony has just reached level 3, yeah, clear the blueprints. Refill the warehouse with stuff. Yeah, that one came quickly, so there wasn't a lot of time for things to run out. The first 2 times the colony status is updated, progress cubes are scored. So 4 points for us. No points for this nerd, because he never builds complexes. I'm using the word complex and colony somewhat interchangeably sometimes, so sorry about any confusion that is created. And if the colony level is now 3 or higher, move the missions cube over by 1. Alright, and then, when the colony status gets upgraded, our man builds a thing. We totally remember this now. Places a shelter according to the construction rules above. So, he has a bunch of... He prefers to make colonies where he can, and complexes where he can, and this time he totally can make a complex. But he has 5 legal tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's where he puts his new thing. He gets 2 crystals, because he's living the dream. You know what? We'll just... He's all full up. He's so full up on crystals right now. And then gets a bot. His bot doesn't... This bot doesn't matter, I don't think. But like, there are some LSS reward tiles that give you points for each bot you built. Or there are reasons that you might presumably care about that thing. Okay, so he built that. He has decremented the sea mission. And he takes action number 2, which is do an upgrade. That's a shame. It doesn't actually matter too much which one of these he does. Yeah, he doesn't score extra for either of these, so this one will be 1 through 3. He builds that one. And there's only one place where he can legally build it. So this sends back my dude. Which means I no longer control that mine, and we no longer get free materials from it, which is a shame. It doesn't actually matter, probably. Because we're not gonna go back to space again. Lacerda uses one of his blueprints, upgrades a thing. Yeah. I'm a little worried, actually, looking at the board state and everything. He does have kind of a lot of points that are not yet represented in the scoring track. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Okay, shuttle phase. The shuttle moves over, and this time it goes all the way over to there. We are now... The shuttle's moving to the 3rd space. I think we do not want to go with it. Fairly sure. Yeah, because we absolutely want to play an upgrade action. Yeah, we definitely don't want to go. How many guys do we have? Yeah, we have a ton of dudes. Absolutely not. Lacerda, on the other hand, totally goes. He's excited. He loves going to space. It's his favorite thing. You gotta admire that kind of enthusiasm. Oh hey, he takes the technology. So, that triggers the end of the game. Does this and takes a crystal. Because that does decrement mission A, which gives him a crystal. So this has hit the bottom of its track. So hold on, one more time. How does the timing of the end of the game work? At the end of the colonization phase, if the remaining missions marker has reached the end of its track. So that happened during the shuttle phase of this turn. So we're about to start a new turn. At the end of this coming turn's colonization phase, endgame will be triggered. There will be one more round after that. So effectively, we have 2 more colonization phases here. And we got some things to clean up before the game can end. So he goes first. He is now colonization. He has earlier colonization priority than we do. He takes action 2 up there, which is get tech, right? Yes, it is. He takes the cheapest tech, the only remaining tech. All of these crystals have been deleted, but then he gets a new crystal for taking that tech. And then that's it. That's his whole turn, right? Yeah. Then it's our colonization phase. So, stuff we need to get done. We need to build this building, which means that we need to right now take a build action. We have guys in place so we can build the mine in the spot that we really want it to go to. Take the mine, put it up there. Commit one of our colonists to live on it forever as a miner. And that's going to generate 3 minerals for us, which is actually extremely handy. 3 minerals, the thing we could really, really use. Oh, sorry, we have this now. We already had a cube on this. There's no LSS marker for mines. So I guess that's actually done. And then I think we do want to spend these 2 crystals for the oh no, never mind. The executive action to do an upgrade is 3 crystals in cost. So that means we need to take that action next turn so that this thing is not a -5 point card. Do we want to spend our... No, we don't want to spend our 2 crystals because we would like to use those next turn on that, probably. Or... we want to recruit the systems engineer. I think pretty badly, actually. That would cost 2 air to do. Oh, we have air and minerals. Okay, that's interesting. So maybe that's our next turn action, is recruit systems engineer. Oh, this is really awkward, actually. Yeah, we needed to... we needed to recruit the systems engineer and also do this upgrade, and I don't think we can do that the way things are resourced out right now. We're a crystal short in a way that's actually like a huge bummer. Yeah. Crud. Because right now, the systems engineer is worth 3 points for each upgraded mine, for each advanced mine building that has been built. There are 2 of those currently built, and 1 of them that we're going to build next turn. So that's a lot of points. I guess, how else could we do this? We could get this upgrade by gaining research. That's not really a thing that's easy for us to do, though. If we could somehow get crystals for... Oof, no, I think we're just out of ways to get stuff done here. Alright, I'm going to not spend an executive action. I'm just done. So at the end of our colonization phase here, the game state notices that endgame has been triggered. Then we move to a shuttle phase where you go here and he doesn't travel and I choose not to spend a 3-point ship to travel. Probably pretty obvious to everybody. And then we enter the final colonization phase. Your final colonization phase has you taking action 1, which you can afford to take. This crystal does not go into your supply because you don't have room for it. Then you spend these 2 crystals to do this thing, to take a blueprint. You would prefer to take batteries, right? Yeah, upgraded battery buildings. So he takes this battery building. Okay. That's your turn. Then, it's my turn, and I am sad. So, not upgrading this is negative 5 points. Upgrading this effectively is a 10-point swing, right? We will lose negative 5 points, and we will also gain 5 points. The scientist is only 9 points, and that's only if we also get this upgrade done. So I'm pretty sure the right play is just make this upgrade happen. And the best way to do that would be to advance our technology, and the best way to do that would be to take a move action, right? So we could run our rover over to one of the research tiles, which would allow us to spend some resources, move this up to here, which is worth points and also gets us the upgrade build. Yeah, that's the right move. So, move action. Rover can move up to 8 spaces. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, scoop up these crystals and then end here. We do have to end our turn on the discovery tile to claim it. Or the research tile, rather. The research tile allows us to take 2 upgrades without paying the cost of them. So we take this upgrade here, which allows us to do the upgrade thing. Get this colonist back. Not that it matters. Performing that upgrade costs us 1 mineral, but obviously extremely worth it. And then we do get 1 more upgrade for free. We don't get to commit colonists to make this any more valuable. It doesn't really matter what it is. I guess there's no reason for that to go to the top. It should go here so that it could potentially take that, although we would not want to do that. Okay, so that was worth like a lot of points, actually. That was a big play. And then it's the end of our turn, the end of our last turn. And we have 2 crystals left. We will spend these 2 crystals to play the executive action of gain 2 points, right? No, that's stupid. We will spend these 2 crystals to play this executive action. So we will pay plant plus water to welcome a private ship with 3 colonists in it. And then we can commit a guy to our working area. It doesn't matter which one. To play plant plus water to welcome another ship with 2 colonists plus a robot in it, because we ran out of colonist space. Get this bot and throw him in one of our shelters. Look at that, we made all of our bots. I don't think that matters at all, but welcoming all these extra colonists absolutely will matter. Those guys are totally worth points. I think that ends up being a very, very valuable final turn. I'm pretty happy with that. So, we have now reached the end of the final colonization phase. There is no shuttle phase. And then, each player moves any crystals they gained the last round into their depot, is the final thing that happens in the game. Okay. And that's it. Hey, you made it to the end. Congratulations. I also made it to the end. You probably made fewer play mistakes than I did, largely owing to lack of opportunity. I made several, and both play mistakes and mechanical rules enforcement mistakes. I think we've reached a final point that somewhat resembles what the end result should have been, though. So let's go ahead and conduct our final scoring. The mission cube here will guide us through that process. So first of all, the progress cubes are scored one final time. That's another 4 points for me. We cannot achieve any of our solo goals here, but let's at least see how we scored out. And I'm going to have to pay more attention to completing those in the next one. Then, 3 points for each ship that you welcomed. Lacerda doesn't really do that. I got 15 points for it. It's incredible. What a good job we've done of not technically not winning the game. Then, what is this one? Return all colonists from the side of the board where your player marker is and from your working area back to your living quarters, and then score OP according to the indicated number next to your highest located colonist. Colonist. So you'll notice this space here, if you have at least one colonist free, scores you 3 points, and then each shelter tile you have placed has another scoring spot on it. So we get 6 points for this. Lacerda is considered to have all of his colonist slots full in final scoring, so he gets 10 points at this moment. Something tells me he's not going to make up the gap. It's just a feeling I have. Okay, technology scoring. For Lacerda, this is 9, 14, 15, 16 total points. He did not really get that much tech. I've already forgotten the number. 14, 16. Okay. So up to 32 for you. We did quite well on this, I think. 9, 14, 18, math, 22, 23. $83. Okay. Then is... Alright, here's where Lacerda's going to gain some ground on us. OP for advanced buildings. We did fine here. We gained 11 points, and we didn't have any negatives, which is nice. Takes us to 94. Lacerda loses 8 points, but also gains 15, so he nets 7 here. That's not so good for him, actually. Him getting a blueprint really late in the game does hurt pretty bad. Let me make sure. Are there any special scoring rules for Lacerda? When he scores that tile, yeah. No, it looks like there are not. He scores out just like a player does. Obviously, his score is not the end-all be-all, since there's other things to be concerned about. Scientist points. Lacerda has 3 points for every upgraded battery building that was built. That is 6 points in total. And finally, Earth contracts. Nobody had any. Game's too hard. There's too many things to do. So we beat Lacerda by a healthy amount, but I think it's fair to say we didn't actually win. We were close. We were quite close. If I had been paying a little bit more attention to this, we totally could have gotten it. It's just that the Earth contract. The Earth contract was a pretty bad one to pull. If we take a quick look at the contracts deck, you can see most of them are like 2 minerals and 3 of something else, which for our position was a little bit easier to accomplish than 4 raw minerals. Then you also have these ones that are an advanced structure on a colony of at least 4 of a building type. I think we probably... Is this the one we least wanted to see? We could have made a structure on a complex of 4 buildings happen, probably. Honestly, yeah, this might have been the worst one for us. That said, decent odds we wouldn't have accomplished any of them, because I was very focused on other things. But the point of this particular video was as much to communicate what the solo version of this game, and also just sort of like the basic rules of this game are about. Communicate that as clearly as possible, as setup for all of the progress that we're going to make in the next video or two. So my plan here is maybe not all today, but over the course of the weekend, put out like 2 more, maybe 3 more of these. I'm having a great time. I think this game is super cool. I hope that you all did as well. This is probably a good place for us to stop for today with our weirdly cathedral-like music. We are now living in the cathedral of our own failures, but when you come back next time, later today, probably, we will try to build something that reflects on us a little bit better. And we'll see you then.